A court of fairies and fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Nell and Liv.
Bonus episode. Let's discuss Eris Vanserra.
All right, hello. Happy Eris Week 2024. Yay. We recorded a little bit last week, so it's going to start on a little bit of a weird note, but follow it through and it gets there. It gets to the autumn court. It connects. Don't worry. And we might have a little happy Eris Week in the middle too. So, it'll get there. I was very excited because I came across an Aelin quote on Tumblr. And then I was like, wait a minute. That sounds fucking familiar. And I had to go back to House of Sky and Breath. And lo and behold, my favorite Cormac had an eerily similar line in an eerily similar situation. And I thought I would read them off to you guys and give you my thoughts. I will start with Aelin's. His name was Sam. She took an uneven breath. I don't even know where they buried him. I don't even know who I would ask about it. Kael didn't reply, and he didn't know why she bothered talking, but the words tumbled out. I failed him, she said. In every way that counted, I failed him. So she was talking about Sam, obviously, her dead lover, right? And very sad. So then the other one is, who sent you to find a meal? Hunt asked. No one, Cormac said. I was sent to the city for another reason, for many reasons, but this matter of finding a meal. Sophie and I were close. I helped her with a meal from Kavala, and before she ... I made her a promise, not only as one agent to another, but as ... a friend, to look after a meal. I failed her in every way. I failed her. Now, I want to make note. And I think you know what I'm going to say, that Aelin says in Airfire, which obviously she knows Sam was human, but Aelin says in Airfire that, like, maybe Sam was her mate. Maybe she'll never know that. Maybe, it would have happened if he didn't die, right? And then, of course, as we find out later, Rowan is her mate. She has a Fae mate. So if we have a parallel scene with Cormac losing Sophie, and he was in love with her, and he lost her basically almost the same way as Sam, who's Cormac's Fae mate going to be?
Also, it also parallels to Lucian losing Jasminda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
And technically, you could say that was the death of Selena into Aelin. So if Cormac is shedding his old identity, coming to Prythian, that's also a mirror. She's so bad right now. It makes sense. It's the same quote. It's the same quote.
It is the same quote. Okay, but like...
And S, Sophie and Sam, they're dead.
Selena and Cormac.
C and C.
I hate it, and I don't like it at all. Why would she do that, though? Like, why?
Cormac's coming back.
Okay,
is.
let me ask you about this.
Also, Aelin fell through worlds. Cormac fell through worlds.
Do you think Cormac and Aelin are related, or just that they have the same, like, story arcs with those quotes?
I think they're related. I think he's a descendant of one of her kids, and so is Lydia. That's why they have the same fire. Because the strength in their fire was the exact same. Lydia took out all the mech, well, not all the mech suits, but most of the mech suits, the same way that Aelin took out all of the Ilkin, the same way that Cormac literally blew up the castle, took out Hippa and all those people. Same scene. They're totally related. And again, Cormac was the one who knew the entire history of Prythian from the archives. All the powers.
Damn mad.
He's the only one who had the power to winnow.
I'll be so mad if, like...
Except Bryce, he taught her.
He does not bring back, because it's obvious that he could very well come back.
It's obvious that he was... Obviously, he's from Prythian. Like, he's directly from Prythian. As we got that undiluted bloodline from the Death Court. He's the only Fae that was born with the power to winnow in Crescent City. That's why he taught Bryce.
I just thought of something. If he's one of the last to have survived the prison, the rest of the Dust Court was buried into stone in the prison.
Yeah.
He's one of the last survivors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude has some mad ass survivor's guilt. Like, not only did he succeed Sophie, but he succeeded.
Well, actually, I was kind of thinking, like, obviously we have the Moore and Eris theory, but I honestly don't think that's going to be canon. But if you think about it, I think we might not know his mom because his mom was one of the ones to escape the prison into Crescent City.
Do we think Elaine has visions of his mom? Like, oh, she died. They all think she died, but she didn't. Like,
that would be wild. Because it's so weird to me that there was no mention of his mother ever.
yeah.
Weird. Like, all the other moms are mentioned, even if they're dead. It was so weird. Like, she left so much of his arc open on purpose. On purpose.
Off.
Wait, you guys are talking about the Asteri prison, right? When he survived that? Okay, I was gonna say, I don't remember him being in
No,
that.
the prison, the Dust Court. Remember how the people were trapped in the stone halfway?
Yeah.
So we're talking about the people that actually made it into the Crescent City world before it got blocked off. His mom could have been one of them.
Okay. I was like,
That's why he knows how to winnow. That's why he's the undiluted bloodline.
How many survivors were there?
Not a lot. Thea, the redheads, Einar's line, Lady Autumn's line, and I don't know, a couple others. Cormac's mom, maybe. Morven, probably Morven too. It was probably Morven and the mom because I'm still convinced that he was Kier's brother.
Wait a minute. What you just said, the redheads. Does that mean that Lady Autumn was originally from the Dust Court?
Yeah, that's why she's Starborn.
no,
a Starborn line mated with an Autumn Court line. That's how she's from the Autumn Court, but that's how she's Starborn.
And she also is mates with the Sunshine Prince.
Yeah, all these fucking Starborn people. Like, this was before the courts happened, remember? Everyone was on all one muddled people. It wasn't all separated by courts at the time. So the Starborn was like just mating with whoever they fucking mated with, and then they just ended up wherever they ended up. So that's why we have spring, autumn.
Yeah, but Lady Autumn isn't that old. Like, she's
but I'm saying their bloodline. So like their ancestors, grandparents, whatever. Yeah,
because she's younger than the inner circle.
Same age.
She's 500.
No, she was in that.
No. So they said that when her and Baron got married, she was 20. Baron was in his 500s. Baron is about 1,000 now, so she's about 500 and something. So she's probably maybe 570. So she's probably about 30, 40 years older than the inner circle, but not that much older. Because she had Eris when she was about 40. So Eris is their age.
I could have sworn she was like much older than Rhys and.
Oh.
What?
Oh. That's why Rune says the same thing about his mom. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Lauren's about 300 and something, which tracks. Or 400 and something, which tracks.
Yeah, hers tracks. Oh my gosh, 535 to 540. And Rhys is a similar age to Rhys. What?
So I'm thinking Lady Autumn's about 570 now. Because Eris is around the same age as Moore and Cassian, so about 535-ish, I would say Eris is. And Lady Autumn's about 40 years older than him, so yeah. 565, 570.
Oh my gosh.
Because Baron's like 1100. That's why they call him the cranky old bastard.
Also, why is he like the only old Fae that we see? That's what I want to know. We don't see anyone else besides him and Maja. That's it.
Well, they were all killed off in the last war, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Well, aside from Tamlin's dad and Rhys's dad, who we know killed each other. They killed each other's families.
War of the Blondes.
War of the Blondes. War of the hot blondes. That's right.
War of the Blondes. But see, that's why Cormac is blonde. There we go. His mom could have been a redhead. But Cormac could have been blonde because if Morven is Kier's brother, they're from the Dust Court. Kier's blonde, Moore's blonde, Rhys's dad is blonde. He still could have been blonde genetically. He would be more strawberry blonde, I would think, but this is Sarah J. Maas, so suspend disbelief. I mean, if Celine and Helena can have raven black hair and their parents were blonde. You know? So, yeah.
Okay, so I have to
She paused.
Why is Lady A Starborn? Because she is the Autumn line. That's like her lineage is Autumn King. The Autumn King didn't have any Starborn in him. None.
Yes, he did.
No.
Yeah, he did. That's why Rune has starlight. Remember? He said it's through Helena, through Einar's line.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess you're right, because Bryce was Starborn. You're right. So Rune
And
And
the
Lucian-
redheads. Through the redheads. Because I think a Starborn person mated with an Autumn Court, male or female, way back when, and that started Lady Autumn's line and Einar's line. And then somewhere down the line, somewhere down the line, Helena's whatever. Or, yeah, they made it over to Crescent City, and then someone from Helena's line mated with them, and then that was Einar's line or something like that. It's like branches of the redheads. Branches of the redheads just mating with the Starborn, which, again, makes sense because Lady Autumn with Helion mating with the Starborn. Because even if Lady A doesn't know she's Starborn, Helion's fucking Starborn.
But then isn't everyone on Prithian Starborn?
No.
No?
No. You'd have to have a lineage that descended all the way back from the Dust Court. So you would either have shadow magic or light magic.
Okay. Have we seen any characters that are not like Starborn that in Prithian? Like,
yeah, the
everyone
Summer Court, the Winter Court. Dawn isn't really Starborn because their light comes from healing.
Okay.
So Summer, Winter, Dawn aren't really Starborn, I don't think.
So it's just night, spring, and day, right?
And autumn. Some of
And
autumn.
autumn.
Lady Autumn's branch of autumn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's why Baron needed her, remember?
Yeah.
He
He wanted the Starborn magic, yeah.
And that's how fucking Eris knows about the mountains and all that shit. Eris knows. Who taught him? Mummy or daddy?
Yeah.
Mummy. Mummy. This is why Lady A can't die. She needs to have, we need to know these things.
I also, it's like a canon in my head that like she used to tell like Lucian and Eris, like all her sons, like rock them to sleep with these like bedtime stories. Because remember, like Lucian said that he knew Amryn before he ever met her.
Yeah. Oh, he said that. Didn't he say that like Baron used to tell them about Amryn to fucking scare them?
I
Yeah,
thought
was it Baron or was
Lady
it just
A.
in general?
I think it was just in general. They were like, we used to be told stories about her, so we would go to sleep.
Amryn was the nightmares.
And he like paled when he was around her too, like when Nesta was being really rude and asking those questions.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Lady A knew all that information though. I think it's Lady A. She knows everything.
Like Cormac. Like Cormac. Because think about it. Bryce is a redhead, right? Bryce is a Starborn, right? Cormac is her cousin. They're cousins. Cormac is Lady Autumn's cousin, the same way that he's Rune's cousin. He's Rune's cousin through their moms. He's Lady Autumn's cousin through whatever fucking ancestor. Well, through Einar, I guess. Their dads. Which is why I'm convinced that Morven isn't his fucking dad. He could have gotten shadow magic from anywhere. From Kier. From Moore. From Eric. I still think it's the most probable. Not gonna happen, but I think it's the most probable for Moore and Eris to be Cormac's parents. That would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I do.
Has the fire. He has the blonde hair. He has the shadows. He has the light brown eyes. Come on. The winnowing. He's Bryce's cousin. Bryce the redhead. And Rune's cousin. Rune, Reese's fucking nephew. Come on. Moore is Reese's cousin. It's all making sense.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to get my hopes up because I'm going to be really disappointed now if this doesn't happen. Because it makes complete and total sense, but I'm like,
sense.
yeah, I mean, it does.
And if we're talking about the fucking prison people getting out to Crescent City and Kier cringing from Truth Teller and fucking, how the fuck is Morven not his brother? That's why Kier's a weak shit. Because he's the younger brother, not the heir. Damn it.
I mean, not that this means anything either, but Morven and Cormac had Scottish accents in the graphic audio. And like, technically, the Court of Nightmares is Scotland. Apparently, Reese is supposed to have a Scottish accent too. So that a little bit.
I know. Oh my god. But so basically, think about it. Basically, if Morven's line hadn't gotten out of Dusk to the Crescent City world and had the magic still flipped from Moore's line to Reese's line, Morven technically could have been the ruler of the Night Court and not Reese.
Yeah.
Because again, it wouldn't have chose Moore because she's a female. But also they're the generation above her anyway, so would have been Morven because he had been alive this whole time. Yep. I cannot fucking wait for Cormac's return. Dude.
Wait, what if Morven is Morgan's brother?
I had a theory that Cormac was Mor's brother, but I don't know. I mean, I did a whole theory board on him being her brother, and then we did the whole theory board on him being her son, and that's why I did the little poll on Instagram. Like, should I make him her brother or her son? And everyone said like son. It was like 75%.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's not what I was expecting, but cool.
See, I like the son theory, but I don't like why. I just don't think if they put a nail through her uterus, right? Like I'm not quite sure you can like
she was
come back from that.
She was healed.
Was it?
Yeah. She said like, oh, she doesn't even have a physical scar, but the emotional wounds. Frost and Starlight.
So here's my other thing: is like, so did they have a kid before they nailed her womb? That doesn't make it. That's what?
I think they knew they were mates.
That's what.
I think Kier and Baron got suspicious, and I think that's what led them to be like, arrange the marriage. And then Mor was like, oh, hell no. Like, he was just some fun because of this mate bond. Like, I like women. I need out of this shit. Like, she didn't want to be tied to him. It was fun because of the whole mate bond fucking shit, but she didn't want to be tied to him. I think they highly suspected something because you would think that it would be super random for Baron to be the one to arrange the marriage with someone from the Court of Nightmares and his eldest son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless he found out the history from Lady Autumn, because then that would make sense. Fire and shadows, Dusk Court children, like Cormac, right?
I also think that Baron wanted Mor to marry Eris so he could harness her truth powers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, why would he want to do that? Go down that train of thought. Why would Baron want that?
Lady Autumn.
Koshi, also Lady Autumn.
Anyone.
To get Lady
Lucian
Autumn to fess up to her affair? Is that what this is all revolving around?
Well, no, imagine if you have all of the truth in the world.
Well, yeah.
You could your enemies are.
Yeah, literally anything. And it would have just helped when all this other shit came up, like, is Lucian my son? Did she fuck this other bastard? Like, yeah. That's why I think Eris 100% helped her out. And I don't know why she's mad at him when I feel like they planned it.
I don't understand what she has to gain by making him the villain for so long. I don't understand that.
Unless I can also see it as like a ruse, like a little thing that they just do in front of people, like to make people believe that they hate each other. I've said before, I don't know if I fully believe if she actually hates him. Like, I don't know if they're meeting up in like fucking Valahan or whatever. Like, I just get the vibe that their arguments are just so childish and petty, like in front of other people, that it can't be real. Like, I don't know. Like, Mor and Amryn fucking turned a house into cinders in their fight. And you're telling me she's just gonna be like, another little bride for you to torture, and like rehashing old shit just to fucking piss him off. Like, it's a ruse. Come on. That's why she was so pale and so wetting at the meeting when Azriel attacked him. Also because they're mates. Farrah was like, yeah, she was shaking for like a full 30 minutes after. Yeah.
I really hate how she wrote that because like originally Azriel, she had the same reaction when Azriel was hurt in like Akamath, and then like in Akawar, she changes it to Eris and she's like, I don't know, she's shaking when Eris is hurt too. But also, like, shame on Mor because those are some pretty serious implications to like for your play fighting with Eris to have Azriel attack Eris at the High Lord's meeting. Like, you think she'd see that and be like, hey, Azriel, I think we should have a talk, you know, like.
Well, to be fair, like, it depends on what their secret, like, it depends on what they're protecting, honestly. Because honestly, one of them is Lady Autumn, which can't really hurt her for doing nothing, right? You know, Eris has a decent mother, at least. And then, like, what are their other secrets? Is it Cormac? Is it something else? Like, what are they protecting so hard that this is completely fine to deal with? Like, Cassian stabbing him through the gut and, like, Azriel trying to, like, obviously he's fine with this. He thinks it's hilarious. He walked into the meeting, like, patting his stomach, like, looking at Cassian, like, round two, bitch. So, clearly he's amused by this. But I want to know what they're protecting. What is their fucking secret? I know that they're mates. I know they're rejected mates. But what the fuck else are they protecting other than Lady Autumn? It can't just be her.
And if it is just her, why?
Yeah.
Is she powerless? Like, is Baron making her powerless? Like, what is the whole stipulation around it? But honestly, like, why would Moore really care? Like, I feel like that would be more of an Eris problem than a Moore problem, right? As long as she just doesn't tell people. Why do you have to play fight? It's weird. I get that, like, Baron is still alive, and I guess you could kind of say, like, well, he'd still force the marriage if they were getting along, but, like, I feel like that time has passed.
Yeah.
So, like, do you remember that theory that we all were talking about, how Baron could possibly be infected with a Valg? Do you remember that?
Oh wow, that was a while ago. But yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember that? Well, we were talking about it. But anyways, what if it's something like that? Like, what if, like, people in the Autumn Court are, like, compromised, obviously, right? But then it wouldn't make sense because he's going to Reese, who basically sounds like he has Valg in him as well.
Yeah, I don't think it would be Baron, because if it was Baron, I feel like we would get, like, a hint, like, oh, the onyx ring glinting on his finger, like we did for, like, the King of Otterlin and the Duke of Parrington and, like, all this shit. Like, we would have gotten a hint of that, and we didn't get any of that. He's honestly just a piece of shit. He's just a piece of shit.
It's like, it's funny because when you look at his actions, though, like, yeah, he's an abusive piece of shit. I agree. But, like, he isn't necessarily wrong, right?
His words aren't wrong, but his actions are wrong.
Yeah, there you go. Like, Lady A technically is cheating on him.
Oh my
Okay.
God,
And
again.
it's true. It's true. I'm not defending Baron. I'm just saying the fact.
She's not cheating on him because she didn't want the marriage. It was not by choice. It was by force.
Echo, what do you think of that? Is that still considered cheating or not?
Yes and no.
I doubt she even said vows. I think they were just like, you're my wife. Fucking deal with it. Like,
oh, they had a wedding. Baron's too prideful to not have a wedding.
We don't know that, though. It just said that her parents sold her to him. He calls her his wife, but are they married? She's his property.
No, they're married.
I don't see them wearing rings either, just saying. No mention of rings. The rings. She's his property.
Then if we go by that, though, then Nessa and Cassian could very well be married, too, because they don't have rings on either.
But I'm saying they're not married. I'm saying she's just his property, and he calls her his wife.
Oh, okay. But Tamlin says that you would be like Lady A, who's the High Lord's consort, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't Tamlin say that? So technically,
yeah, but how would Tamlin know what went down many years ago? Like, he was a kid. He wouldn't know.
I mean, he is a High Lord, though. He's privy to, like, information other people are not, right?
But you think Baron's telling all the High Lords his personal information, what didn't happen on his wedding night? Wedding night? There's no way. That's why the Autumn's Court has all these secrets. Because shit is happening. That's just weird and off.
But that's my point, is, like, what shit is happening in the Autumn Court? Like, I don't understand why there's something that Eris
He's just a dictator. He's just a misogynistic dictator. He doesn't let the females have rights, and yeah, Eris is just like, oh, I want to, like, liberate my court. Like, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. He's leaving bruises on her where no one can see. Alien. But yeah, it's like, he's sneaky about shit. That's what I'm saying. He'll abuse his wife, but not where people can see. So, his wife, is he just saying they're married? I feel like she would not. Because Helion even says, oh, you know, before our affair, whatever, she was all smiles and feisty and all this shit. So it's like, I feel like she was fighting tooth and nail against her parents not to marry Baron. And they're like, we already sold you to him. Like, you're married. And she's like, I'm not fucking saying vows. And they're like, doesn't matter. You're still considered as property now. Bye, bitch. Like, because she used to be feisty. I mean, to be with Helion, come on. Kind of gonna be feisty. He's in love with her. Why is he in love with her? Because she's just like a fucking zombie. Which is why I think that Baron has been fucking dosing her and taking her magic. Because she reminds me of Lauren. Who, you know, the fucking parasite was in the water. She can't show her wings. She seems depressed all the time. She keeps to herself with all her secrets. She only tells Rune some things, but not a lot. Just like Lady A is probably only telling Eris some things, but not a lot. I just love her so much. I love how I was like, oh, we'll go into the whole Autumn Court for Eris Week. Technically, this episode would be Eris Week, so we should actually go into that, if you would like. I have all the quotes. What the fuck is going on in the Autumn Court? That's what they titled it. I love this person for putting all the quotes on Tumblr. Tumblr comes in clutch. Credit to King and Fireheart for doing the whole list of all the quotes for Lady A and everything. Literally, it's a huge ass list. There's a lot.
They did their due diligence.
They did. Yeah. Actually, the Eris post was first. Okay. I guess we'll go over Eris first because it's technically going to be Eris Week and not Lady Autumn Week, but the Eris part is part 1. There's a lot. Anyways. She put like this little thing on the top. She said, I was originally very confused about how people seem to love Eris all of a sudden, so then I had to go back through all the books to find out. I love how like the smallest thing just spurs people like us into being like, I need to collect all the data.
Right. Like, why is it this way?
I know. She goes, will he have a redemption arc? Does he need to be redeemed? What are his secrets? Why did he leave more? Why did he protect Lucian? Why does he want to marry Nesta? And then of course the nuance scenes, which I love personally, but there's that. She said, Cassian and Vanserra voiced doubts about Eris that really had me thinking about all of his scenes in the books. 2 of them, especially. This was Vanserra's, but this is also after this is after the nuance scene where she says, oh, it was the most decent he'd ever sounded when he talked to her, which is what I love. But it says, Baron studied his son with a scrutiny that made some small part of me wonder if Eris might have grown to be a good male if he had a different father, if one still lurked there beneath centuries of poison. Because Eris, what had it been like for him under the mountain? What games had he played? What had he endured, trapped for 49 years? I doubted he would risk such a thing happening again, even if it set him in opposition to his father, or perhaps because of that. I think we're getting an Eris under the mountain flashback.
I think so too. I would agree.
In the Eris book.
Because he has been mentioned since book 1.
He was in book 1. Oh, it looked like the eldest with that sneer on his face. And
throughout the entire series, he has been mentioned. And so was Lady Autumn.
Yeah, Lady Autumn was in book 1 too. Yeah. She was like a big deal.
Yeah.
In book 1.
Yeah. So I think Eris and Lady A are like on the same team.
Also, I don't think even Tamlin knows Lady Autumn's real name.
I don't think anybody does.
Doesn't call her by her name.
The Lady of the Autumn Court.
Lady of the Autumn. Like,
nameless is my price. Baron took her name from her.
Oh, fuck.
She was sold to him. Yeah. 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 So I think we're gonna get that. I think that Eris under the mountain, if you think about it, right? So Eris is stuck there with his awful brothers with Baron, and then Lady A is stuck there with her fucking mate. And you're telling me Eris wasn't mediating between that entire situation for 50 years, being like, for fuck's sake. And then just dreading the day that Lucian shows up. And then Lucian shows up, and he has to watch him get his eye gouged out with his mother there. Because ain't no way Amarantha didn't do that without an audience. They had to watch that.
We need, like, a court of flashbacks and therapy.
Yeah. Oh my god. A court of what the fuck was happening behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, poor Eris. And the way that he had to pretend to laugh as Lucian was, like, dying. Like, he had to watch him get his eye gouged out. He had to watch him get lashed by Tamlin because of not giving Feyre's name. He had to watch him almost die in the trial. He had to watch his brothers almost hunt him after Jasminda, and he somehow got to save him. So, like, that's a lot. I feel like Eris might have been pulling strings behind the scenes under the mountain, just like Rhys. Because if you remember, when Amarantha is asking for Feyre's name, she's like, what's Feyre's name? What's Feyre's name? And Lucian's like, I'm not giving it. And then she, like, turns to Eris, and she's like, maybe your lovely brothers know. And she's like, what's her name? And he's like, if I knew Lady, I would tell you. Or, like, if I knew Queen, my Queen, I would tell you. She knew Eris the same way she knew Rhys. I'm telling you, he was pulling strings. And again, it goes to my Gwen theory where Lucian says, oh, or no, Rhys says, oh, you know, the people that groveled at her feet were let out for court business on occasion. So, like, he was dabbling everywhere. I would even go as far to say that he was probably way better at it than Rhys. Because Rhys kind of got found out, right? Amarantha kind of knew his shit mostly. But he did kind of fuck himself over with the whole Claire Better thing. But for the most part, Amarantha had eyes on Rhys, knew when she let Rhys out and all that stuff. I don't think she had as close a watch on Eris. Because I don't think that she believed that he was a threat. I don't think that she believed that he would go against his father because of the act he put on, which was just like Baron. So Eris is way more skilled in being like a sneak and a spy and dabbling in all these lives or whatever. But Cassian's was, you know what a monster your father is and want to usurp him. You act against him in the best interest of not only the Autumn Court, but also all of the fairy lands. You risk your life to ally with us, and yet you left her in the woods. That scene bothers me, because then he's like, just tell me. And I was like, thank you, Cassian, just tell us. And he's like, you're not the one I want to explain myself to. I was like, fucking Sarah. But I'm like, it isn't more either, because you just told her in Akawar, like, I don't need to explain myself to you. So who is it, Gwyn or Cormac? Which is it?
Well, It's Gwen.
I'm gonna be so excited. I went through all 5 books and pieced together the most telling Eris moments. What I gained from this exercise was a few observations. Eris does have a moral compass. He's playing a long game, and the Lady of the Autumn Court is definitely a big piece to the Autumn Court, Lucian, Helion, and Eris puzzles. See my other thing for hers. So then it goes by book in chronological order, which I love lists. I love lists. Chronological list. So I guess I should start this by saying Happy Eris Week, because it will be Eris Week when I post this video. Intro to Eris. Me and Olivia did rant about him last year and about that thing, but we didn't have a whole list. So see, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. A Court of Thorns and Roses, Tamlin tells Lucian's backstory. Lucian's the youngest son of the High Lord of the Autumn Court, the youngest of 7 brothers. The Autumn Court is cutthroat, beautiful, but his brothers see each other only as competition, since the strongest of them will inherit the title, not the eldest.
How did Baron get around that?
Well, Baron could have been the eldest, or he could have been the strongest, but I don't see it. Whatever. Or he was just the only, like Lucian. Baron, let's be honest, Baron was an only child. He was just spoiled as shit. Entitled. Asshole. It is the same throughout Prithian at every court. So, not the eldest, the strongest. Which is why I said Nyx is not going to be the fucking heir, because he's 75% Illyrian. He's not even really high fae.
That's why I'm saying it's going to be Asriel.
Well, unless they have another son, which there's going to be a lot more babies. I bet they're going to have, like, another son, a daughter, you know, whatever.
You guys are just going to drop that bomb and then move right past Asriel inheriting the Night Court?
Yeah.
Are you too?
I don't think it's going to be Az. Az is more related to Dusk. It was supposed to be more, but that's why I think Rhys and Feyre will have another son before they have a daughter, and that's going to be the son that inherits. Unfortunately. Yeah, he's Dusk. Well, he's both, like Rhys, I guess, but I feel like he's more Dusk. I feel like his shadow singing powers come from Dusk.
True.
And also, Asriel is older than Rhys, so. Yeah. He's in their generation, so I don't think he would inherit. But anyways, it is the same throughout Prithian at every court. Lucian never cared about it, never expected to be crowned a High Lord, so he spent his youth doing everything a High Lord's son probably shouldn't have been doing. Wandering the courts, making friends with the sons of other High Lords, a faint gleam in Tamlin's eyes at that. And being with females who are a far cry from the nobility of the Autumn Court. Lucian fell in love with a fairy whom his father considered to be grossly inappropriate for someone of his bloodline. Lucian said he didn't care that she was wasn't one of the High Fae, that he was certain the mating bond would snap into place soon, and that he was going to marry her and leave his father's court to his scheming brothers. I knew they were going to elope. I swear to God. This is like Morven Cormac Sophie. And like Dorian Sorsha, King of Adarlan. His father had her put down, executed in front of Lucian, as his 2 eldest brothers held him and made him watch. Lies. Lucian was demodied. My stomach turned and I pushed a hand against my chest, couldn't imagine, couldn't comprehend. Lucian left, cursed his father, abandoned his title and the Autumn Court, and walked out. Walked out?
Yeah, that's weird.
Without his title protecting him, his brothers thought to eliminate one more contender to the High Lord's crown. 3 of them went out to kill him, and 1 came back.
So is Eris not the oldest? Did he have, like, older brothers that were killed?
No, Eris was the oldest. Eris was always the oldest.
So he had to have been demodied.
Or
like you said.
Somehow, yeah. And then obviously he told Tamlin the story, so that's how Tamlin says it. As emissary, had he ever had dealings with his father or his brothers? Yes. His father has never apologized, and his brothers are too frightened of me to risk harming him. But he has never forgotten what they did to her or what his brothers tried to do to him, even if he pretends that he has. Poor Lulu. But it wasn't Eris. Justice for Eris. They need to become really close brothers again, or I will riot. Because you just know that, like, Eris was already grown when Lucian was born, so, like, Lucian is, like, his baby brother. Like, it's his little boy, you know? He was his little keeper. Let's be real. Eris loves him so much, and he will never say it.
I hope that, like, before Eris dies, that he says it to Lucian, though.
He's not gonna die. He's inheriting the Autumn Court with the bids.
He's on the list, my friend. He's on that list. I'm telling you.
Dude, I kind of feel like she is not gonna kill off all the brothers. And I think it's gonna be like some sort of competition between one of the brothers and Eris. And that's why he wants the bids. Because I think he knows who's in competition with him, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Under the mountain, when Amarantha tortures Lucian for Feyre's name, this is the one I just brought up. Behind them, pressing to the front of the crowd, came 4 tall red-haired High Fae, toned and muscled, some of them looking like warriors about to set foot on a battlefield, some like pretty courtiers. They all stared at Lucian and grinned, the 4 remaining sons of the High Lord of the Autumn Court. Okay, Eris was the pretty courtier. Let's be real. Sorry, Eris. Like, I know you're a warrior, but you're pretty. Lucian's brothers lurked on the edges of the crowd, no remorse, no fear on their faces. Her name, she asked Tamlin, who didn't reply. His eyes were fixed on Lucian's brothers, as if marking who was smiling the broadest. Amarantha ran a nail down the arm of her throne. The same nail that cut out Lucian's eye? I don't suppose your handsome brothers know, Lucian. If we did, lady, we would be the first to tell you. It was, lady, I was right, said the tallest. He was lean, well-dressed, every inch of him a court-trained bastard. Probably the eldest, given the way even the ones who looked like born warriors stared at him with deference and calculation and fear.
I love it. There were 4 there, though. There are 4, not 3. So, but we've only read about
Eris and the other 3. Okay. 4 in total.
Because remember, 2 were killed by Tam and Lucian.
Yeah.
Wait, so how many were there total? Because we have
7.
4 there, 5 under the mountain with Lucian, right? And then 2 killed by Tamlin, so there were 7 total.
Yeah.
But in the ice scene with Azrael and Cassian, there's only 3. It's Eris and 2 others. Who was the 4th?
What do you mean? They stayed behind. They're alive. They just didn't go.
The one stayed behind?
I'm guessing the competition to Eris. That's what I'm saying.
So it's a character that we don't know yet.
They were all at the High Lord's meeting, but
Okay.
Not named.
Okay.
I think it was the one that was like really watching when he was talking to Nuon, and then when Baron was like, your brothers wouldn't care if you took it and dropped dead. And there was like one that was kind of looking at them, I think, and I was like, is he gonna poison him? I was like, let's not. A ripple of laughter spread across those assembled behind us, the loudest from Lucian's brothers. Like, Eris, come on. When Rhysand takes Feyre to the parties at night. Fairies and High Fae gawked as we passed through the entrance. Some bowed to Rhys while others gaped. I spied several of Lucian's older brothers gathered just inside the doors. The smiles they gave me were nothing short of vulpine. We reached the throne room, and I braced myself to be drugged and disgraced again. Nobody pays attention to that line.
No, they don't.
But it was Rhysand the crowd looked at, Rhysand whom Lucian's brothers monitored. Amarantha's clear voice rang out over the music, summoning him. He paused, glancing at Lucian's brothers, stalking toward us, their attention pinned on me, eager, hungry, wicked. I opened my mouth, not too proud to ask Rhys not to leave me alone with them while he dealt with Amarantha, but he put a hand on my back and nudged me along. During the second trial, in the crowd, red hair gleamed, 4 heads of red hair, and I stiffened my spine. I knew his brothers would be smiling at Lucian's predicament, but where was his mother, his father? Surely the High Lord of the Autumn Court would be present. I scanned the crowd, no sign of them. Another reason why we need Eris's flashback, because where the fuck were Baron and Lady A? Did he catch her with Helion?
Yes.
That's why
I need their book so bad. I need it so bad.
At this point, like, just drop the Moore and Eris novella, at least.
You know what? I would actually take this over Lucian and Gwenriel. Like, I want Moore and Eris more than... And Helion and Lady A more than anything else.
Well, see, this is why I did the Helion and Lady A flashback in my fic. Because I'm like, I need this. I need to know why they weren't there.
Yeah.
Answer it, Lucian shouted. His voice hitched. My eyes stung. The world was just a blur of letters mocking me with their turns and shapes. The metal groaned as it scraped against the smooth stone of the chamber, and the fairies' whispers grew more frenzied. Through the holes in the grate, I thought I saw Lucian's eldest brother chuckle. He was probably sobbing, let's be real.
Sobbing. I think he was.
You think so?
Baby. He probably masked it as a chuckle, but I feel like he was really upset.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Because think about it. He's the one that sent the letter anonymously to save him the first time. And he's sitting there watching him not being able to do anything this time.
Oh my God. And you think like she thought it was chuckling, but really we know he's just like crying and trying to make it look like a chuckle. Oh my God, that's like gutting to me.
I know. Especially after he had to watch him get his eye gouged out, watch him get lashed by Tamlin.
Like,
until he was unconscious.
Oh my God, you're literally gonna. But then why does Lucian? Lucian has no idea how much Eris loves him. All he does is call him a snake.
Oh, the one that guts me even more than this is the meeting after the war in the Archerons manor.
I hate that meeting.
When Feyre says like, Eris looked at his youngest brother with longing, and I was like, bitch, if you don't give me a crumb. And Lucian doesn't see anything. Lucian doesn't see Elaine step toward him. Lucian doesn't see Eris look at him like that. I get so mad.
Oh my God. I love him so much.
One. Some of the crowd laughed, his brothers no doubt the loudest. You're both fools. When Tamlin and Feyre make out in the closet. You're both fools, he murmured, his breathing uneven. How did you not think that someone would notice you were gone? You should thank the Cauldron Lucian's delightful brothers weren't watching you. After Feyre breaks the curse, the Adder and the nastier fairies had disappeared instantly, along with Lucian's brothers, which was a clever move, as Lucian wasn't the only fairy with a score to settle. Odd. A court of mist and fury. Lucian telling Feyre about Jasminda. Even if I his face paled and he stroked a hand down the mare's cobweb-colored mane. I was forced to watch as my father butchered the female I loved. My brothers forced me to watch. Is his spell cleaving power working through that little Daimati magic in his mind. Because I love how he now didn't say the 2 oldest brothers or Eris or whatever. My brothers, just general. Which, all 4 of them? All 6 of them? No, 2 of them. Rhys tells Moore's story. Gag. It was rage and pain that kept him from telling me outright, not mistrust. After a moment, he said, I was there in Hewn City the day her father declared she was to be sold in marriage to Eris, eldest son of the High Lord of the Autumn Court, Lucian's brother. Eris had a reputation for cruelty. I doubt it. And Moore begged me not to let it happen. For all her power, all her wildness, she had no voice, no rights with those people. And my father didn't particularly care if his cousins used their offspring as breeding stock. Rhys is daddy. What happened? I brought Moore to the Illyrian camp for a few days, and she saw Cassian and decided to do the one thing that would ruin her value to those people. I didn't know until after, and it was a mess. With Cassian, with her, with our families, and it's another long story, but the short of it is that Eris refused to marry her, said she'd been sullied by a bastard-born lesser fairy, and he'd now sooner fuck a sow. I can see him saying that. I mean, that was pretty funny. Come on.
It's very funny. You love Eris.
Her
That is
family.
all I wanted.
When they were done, they dumped her on the Autumn Court border with a note nailed to her body that said she was Eris's problem. Nailed to her. Eris left her for dead in the middle of the woods. Azriel found her a day later. There's no way he didn't send them an anonymous note just like he did with Lucian. It was all I could do to keep him from going to either court and slaughtering them all. Funny, compared to how he slaughtered all the soldiers that did it to Gwen. I thought of that merry face, the flippant laughter, the female that did not care who approved, and because she had seen the ugliest her kind had to offer, she had survived. There's a shit ton in ACOWAR. My favorite part. Lucian tells his story. A Court of Wings and Ruin. Lucian tells his story. I'd say that sounds more High Lord-like than the life of an idle, unwanted son. A long, steely look. Did you think it was mere hatred that prompted my brothers to do their best to break and kill me? So they know. They know. I don't know if they know that he's Helions. I don't think they do, actually, because if they did, then they wouldn't be thinking he was a threat to Baron's throne, right? I think Eris kept that to himself. Despite myself, a shudder rippled down my spine. I finished off the apple and uncoiled my feet, plucking another off a low-hanging branch. Would you want it, your father's crown? No one's ever asked me that. The bloodshed that would be required to earn the crown wouldn't be worth it, neither would its festering court. I'd gain a crown only to rule over a crafty, two-faced people. And then I love how she's like, that's why he had a fox mask, as he's the sly fox. It's like, Lucian, it's your people, though. So he didn't actually say yes or no. He's gonna be so excited to be an heir. He's gonna be so excited. I love him. Lucian and Feyre versus the Autumn Court brothers. Father, the one now holding a knife to my throat, said to Lucian, is rather put out that you didn't stop by to say hello. We're on an errand and can't be delayed, Lucian answered. The knife pressed a fraction harder into my skin as he let out a humorous laugh. Right, rumor has it you two have run off together cuckolding Tamlin. I didn't think you had it in you, little brother. He had it in her, it seems. One of the other ones snickered. Fuck it. Eris was probably like, really? Yeah. Really, bro? I slid my gaze to the male above me. You will release us. Our esteemed father wishes to see you. The knife didn't waver. Oh, he said with a snake's smile. The knife didn't waver. So you will come with us to his home. Eris, Lucian warned. The name clanged through me. Above me, mere inches away, Moore's former betrothed, the male who had abandoned her when he found her brutalized body on the border, the High Lord's heir. Why does she think he's the heir? When Tamlin's like, bitch, it ain't always the oldest. She's like, the heir. Okay, Feyre. Unreliable narrator, right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This can end with you going under, begging me to get you out once that ice instantly refreezes. Or this can end with you agreeing to take my hand. But either way, you will be coming with me. I fucking love that scene when the ice is cracking. I love that. Glaring, then considering, watching the three of us, as I said to Eris, his other 2 brothers, to the sentries on the shore. You all deserve to die for this, and for much, much more, but I am going to spare your miserable lives. Bitch! Shut the fuck up, you 20-year-old little twat. I can't. I hate her. You are not the High Lady of Autumn. What are you doing right now? I will spare your lives. Fuck off. Ugh, I hate her. Even with a wound through his gut, Eris's lip curled. Yep. Cassian snarled his warning. I removed the glamour I kept on my I don't give a fuck about you. Next. Lucian's face drained of color as he strode for us, stopping a healthy distance from Azriel's side. I am High Lady of the Night Court. Shut up, I don't care. Even Eris stopped sneering. His amber eyes widened, something like fear now creeping into them. I can tell you right now, Eris was not fucking afraid of you. I think he was more afraid for Lucian because Lucian was with you and trusted you.
Because what? You cut out.
I said I think Eris was more afraid for Lucian for trusting her. He wasn't afraid of Farah, please. Because he literally captured her. He had already captured her once with his fire, and she was like, well, if he wanted these bonds to burn me, I knew that he would if he willed it.
Or is he more afraid of Rhysand, and he knows that since she's the High Lady, right, that like Rhys will come for him.
Yeah, that too, yeah. My father would likely join with Hybern if he thought he stood a chance of getting his power back that way by killing you. A snarl from Rhys. Your brothers saw me, though. Perhaps they could mistake the flame as yours, but the ice, ... That's the information you need to gather, what my father knows. If my brothers realized what she was doing, you need to start from there and build your plan for this meeting accordingly. Moore said, Eris might keep that information to himself and convince the others to as well if he thinks it'll be more useful that way. That a little standing up for Eris there, Moore? What's happening? And then Farah's like, I wonder if Moore looked at that red hair, the golden brown skin that was a few shades darker than his brother's and still saw Eris. Lucian said evenly, perhaps, but we need to find that out. If Baron or Eris has that information, they'll use it to their advantage to control the meeting or control you. Or they might not show up at all and instead go right to Hybern. Eris is a snake. He loves you! Shut up. Eris in Human City. I love this one too. If the Ouroboros could not be retrieved, at least without such terrible risk, I shut out the thought, sealing it away for later, as Kier left, leaving us alone with Eris when he was like, Thanatos needs help with his unruly daughter. The heir of autumn just sipped his wine. Just sipping the tea. I had the terrible sense that Moore had gone somewhere far, far away. As Eris set down his goblet and said, You look well, Moore. You don't speak to her, Azriel said softly. Eris gave a bitter smile. I see you're still holding a grudge. This arrangement, Eris, Rhys said, relies solely upon you keeping your mouth shut. Eris huffed a laugh. And haven't I done an excellent job? Not even my father suspected when I left tonight. I glanced between my mate and Eris. How did this come about? He looked me over, the crown and the dress. You didn't think that I knew your shadow singer would come sniffing around to see if I told my father about your powers, especially after my brother so mysteriously forgot about them too? I knew it was a matter of time before one of you arrived to take care of my memory as well. He tapped the side of his head with a long finger. Too bad for you, I learned a thing or two about Daemati. Too bad for my brothers that I never bothered to teach them.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot that line.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so telling. Lucian was absolutely Daemati.
Oh, I think Baron tried to Daemati both of them to hate each other.
Yes.
He knows.
But who taught Eris about Daemati? And also
he learned because Baron probably knew Hybern for a while and he just pretended he didn't.
Yeah. Also though, Azriel can erase memories, so is Azriel Daemati too? Did you guys catch that in the sentence?
Yeah.
Wait, am I wrong?
No, I always thought that he thought that Farah did it on the ice. I think Farah did it on the ice. I don't know. Maybe he meant Azriel. I don't know. It's unclear. I always thought Farah did it when they were there before they left. And she didn't know like whether it worked or whatever because she didn't really have a lot of her powers left, right? I don't know. But yeah, too bad for my brothers that I never bothered to teach them. So going with that Daemati thing, if Baron was secretly in cahoots with Hybern, which is why he didn't want to fight against him, which is why Tamlin had to drag his ass onto their side, this makes sense that he was also friends with Tamlin's father, because Tamlin's father was best friends with Hybern, and this makes sense why the killing of Rhys's mother and sister, where they dragged Tamlin along, is the exact same as them dragging Lucian and watching Jasminda get killed. Same tactic. I think Tamlin's father told him before he went.
You mean with the Tamlin Lauren, if that ties into the Tamlin Lauren theory type thing?
I feel like Tamlin's father was friends with Baron. I feel like he told Baron, like, oh, I'm gonna kill these Night Court fuckers or whatever. And Baron was like, whatever, told him his plan. And then Baron used that same plan on Lucian and Jasminda because Tamlin was forced to watch as his brothers and father killed them. Lucian was forced to watch as his brothers and father killed her. It makes so much sense.
It all makes perfect sense.
And Tamlin had to drag his ass to the war after he was like, maybe I'll fight with you guys. It was so weird. Was he just not going to fight, or was he going to show up on Hybern's side before Tamlin got a hold of them? Did Tamlin know that? I always thought that Baron and Tamlin's father were friends and they were exchanging information, and this like so proves it. The whole Daemati thing. Oh, where can I get a Daemati? Oh, well, my dead friend was close with Hybern. Used it on his son to get the location for his lovers, whatever. I think they Daemati'd Tamlin too to get the location. I don't think he told them. I think he was Daemati'd.
That would explain.
And tortured. Yeah. Because he still doesn't have fucking shields. Like, what are you doing, Tam? He still hasn't learned Daimati shields.
And Rhys didn't teach him.
Again, Rhys and Eris. Why would Rhys want to? Because he's like, oh, if we become High Lords someday, I might need that. He was suspicious from the get-go. Yeah. But see, this is why I always fucking say Tamlin and Lucian's lives are literal mirrors of each other. Almost everything that happens to Lucian happened or will happen to Tamlin.
Are they like blood brothers?
Soul brothers, twin flame brothers. Because literally, the fathers, the brothers, Amarantha, Hybern, everything. Lucian found his mate. Hybern scene, Cauldron, traumatic. Briar, Hybern, traumatic. Spell cleaving, wind power. Rushes over to her to get her safe. Sends her the wind to make her safe. Like, what? Yeah. Oh my God. Do you know how many people I've turned to the Briar theory this week? I was so excited. There was a girl today. I go, it's Briar. Someone goes, holy shit, how did I never put that together? Briar Rose, like Sleeping Beauty. Hello, the wolves, the thing. I go, thank you. I will send you my reel. She was like, how did I never think of this? Holy shit, it was right in front of my face. I'm like, I know it was. She's like, wait, how is she going to get to the sprint court? And I was going like, I think that she's either going to want to thank him for healing her pain, or she's just going to like go on a tour of the courts. And like, it depends on if she's Fae or if she's human, but either way, it doesn't matter because he can shapeshift people, which is like Aelin shapeshifting from human to Fae and changing her lifespan. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyways, continuing with the Eris quotes. We were at the Hewn City scene from Akawar.
Yes, and wondering why, despite being under the mountain for 50 years, how come Eris doesn't have any trouble with being in Hewn City?
Exactly.
In the Court of Nightmares.
Exactly. And what is his deal with Kier? Like, I need to know these things. I need to know. Anyways, we ended off with the whole, too bad for you, I learned a thing or two about Daimati. Too bad for my brothers, I never bothered to teach them. And then we were like, ah, Lucian did get Daimati. After that, of course I didn't tell my father. Eris went on drinking from his wine again. Why waste that sort of information on that bastard? His answer would be to hunt you down and kill you, not realizing how much shit we're in with Hybern and that you might be the key to stopping it. So this was about, Baron possibly finding out that Feyre had the High Lord's powers from the scene on the ice because they thought Eris was going to snitch. Obviously he didn't. He's smarter than that. So he plans to join us then, Rhys said. Not if he learns about your little secret. He smirked, more blinked as if realizing that Rhys's contact with Eris, his invitation here, ... The glance she gave me, clear and settled, told me enough. Hurt and anger still swirled, but understanding too. I fucking hate this part. So what's the asking price, Eris? Another little bride for you to torture? Something flickered in Eris's eyes. Now, the only other time that something flickered is used is when Tamlin helps save Rhys for Feyre because he loves her. And he says, be happy, Feyre, because he's remembering begging for her with Amarantha. So something flickered in Eris's eyes. I don't know who fed you those lies to begin with, Morrigan. Likely the bastards you surround yourself with, a sneer at Azriel. Moore snarled, rattling the glasses. You never gave any evidence to the contrary, certainly not when you left me in those woods. There were forces at work that you have never considered, he said coldly, and I am not going to waste my breath explaining them to you. Believe what you want about me. Which is why I say, in the later scene, when he says, you're not the one I want to explain myself to, it's not Moore either.
It's Gwen.
Cassian's like, Moore isn't going to listen to you or whatever the fuck he says. I don't think, and yeah, it's Gwen. It's Gwen. Fucking Feyre, I hate when she cuts into this shit because she acts like, oh, poor me. She has to add the part where she's the victim. You hunted me down like an animal. I think we'll choose to believe the worst. Fuck off. I hate her so much. Eris's pale face flushed. I was given an order and sent to do it with two of my ... brothers. I'm telling you, he's also Helian's kid. I'm telling you, the amber eyes. Come on. He got so lucky with his coloring. But like even Lucian was pale enough to pass as Baron, so come on.
True.
Come on.
Kitty.
And what of the brother you hunted down alongside me, the one whose lover you helped to execute before his eyes? Eris laid a hand flat on the table. You know nothing about what happened that day. Nothing.
Bear was talking too much too.
So much shit.
She's like listening to gossip stuff.
But I love how when it comes to Lucian, he gets so defensive and he cannot keep his chill. He's like, not my baby brother.
That's
so cute. Silence. Indulge me, was all I said. Eris stared me down. I stared right back. How do you think he made it to the spring border? He said quietly. I wasn't there when they did it. Ask him. I refused. It was the first and only time I have denied my father anything. He punished me. And by the time I got free, ... they were going to kill him too. I made sure they didn't. Made sure that Tamlin got word anonymously to get the hell over to his own border. Where 2 of Eris's brothers had been killed by Lucian and Tamlin. He doesn't even know that he was demodied.
I just thought of something.
What?
That's where he and Branna did the thing, Eris and Branna, because that's how Branna found out about my Autumn Court boys.
What do you mean? When?
He traded sex for Damati. I think he traded.
He could have.
He traded sex for Damati powers to Damati Lucian to protect him, and then contacted Tamlin somehow. I don't know.
But see here, he doesn't. It seems like he doesn't know that he was demodied because he says, "I wasn't there when they did it. Ask him. I refused." Ask him, like ask Lucian, like he would know that Eris didn't do it, but he doesn't know that Eris didn't do it. I think it was Baron, not Eris. I think Baron fucked her, and then demodied Lucian, or one of the brothers that was killed. I don't know. It's so annoying because Eris is like, he knows, and Lucian is like, that fucking snake, and I'm like, it makes me so upset.
I want the Brotherhood to like be healed and mended.
I know, I want it so badly. Eris picked at a stray thread on his jacket. Not all of us were so lucky in our friends and family as you, Rhysand. He has no friends. Eris has no friends because he knows that the minute he does something that Baron doesn't like, Baron will just kill someone he cares about. So he doesn't have friends.
But that also means that Eris knew Lauren.
Perhaps. What makes you say that?
Because it's not just Mor and Az and Cassian. Like, Lauren is his family too, even though she's not around.
True, he could have. Also, I wonder, this kind of gave me a little bit of an idea. So I wonder, because you know how we said that, you know, Tamlin and Lucian's kind of grief is mirrored, how like their dads went after their girls and all of this stuff. So I was thinking, if was secretly working with Hybern, and if he did at some point find out something from Whispers Under the Mountain or whatever, I wonder if he did put the hit out on Gwen's mom.
Oh.
Because literally Gwen just says that she died a few years before like the attack when Catelyn died, I think. Or like a handful of years before that.
Yeah.
So like if Eris loved her, she would have been protecting them. She would have been protecting them by telling them they didn't know who their dad was because Eris is still connected to Baron. And they were nymphs, like they were also lesser fae, like Jasminda. Damn it. I hate Baron so much. I hate him.
Unless she's one of the swans, she has as a way to keep her safe.
I don't know. Did they?
It's a stretch.
It's so vague though. They're like, oh, she died. How?
Right.
How did she die? I was kind of under the impression that it was like another Hybern attack, but then like they didn't mention that it was an attack.
Yeah, you would think that they would mention something.
How did your mom die? This is why we're getting more Gwen. There is a paternity question for a reason. We're gonna get Gwen realizing Eris is her dad, Eris somehow telling her the story of how he shacked up with her mom, and like maybe we'll get how the mom died from Gwen. She'll be like, oh, this is how she died. She'll tell Eris. Or even Asriel, if it's a Gwen real book. They'll be exchanging traumas.
The ultimate form of emotional intimacy.
I know. Because like there was kind of a lot with Catelyn. Like she's like, I know my sister would have signed up for training, and I know my sister would have fought in the Blood Right and all this stuff, but like we didn't really get a lot on her mom. She's like, oh, I'm fighting it for Catelyn and my mom. Which again, what was her fucking name? Thank you. I named her Marina because that sounds like such a nymph name. Marina Berdara.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I have my own lore about that, but I won't get into that right now. Reese's face was a mask of boredom. It would seem so. None of this entirely erased what he'd done, but what is the asking price? I repeated. The same thing I told Azriel when I found him snooping through my father's woods yesterday. See, this was right after Lucian told Azriel where to go spy. Clever fox.
Sneaky.
Sneaky Lucian. Love it. Hurt flared in Moore's eyes as she whipped her head toward the shadow singer, but Azriel didn't so much as acknowledge her as he announced, when the time comes, we are to support Eris's bid to take the throne. Fucking bid. The fucking bid! Even as Azriel spoke, the frozen rage dulled his face. Eris was wise enough to finally pale at the sight. Perhaps that was why he had kept knowledge of my powers to himself. Not just for this sort of bargaining, but to avoid the wrath of the Shadow Singer. The blade at his side. Just like here. He's afraid of Truthseller. I never caught that. I never caught that. What the hell? What? He's not afraid of Azriel. Come on, Eris is more powerful than Azriel. He's an heir. Technically, he's an heir. As far as we know. The request still stands, Rhysand. To just kill my father and be done with it. I can pledge troops right now. Bold, Eris. Bold as fuck. Mother above, he didn't even try to hide it, to look at all remorseful. It was an effort to keep my jaw from dropping to the table at his intent, the casualness with which he spoke it. Okay, bitch, if you had to live with Baron your entire childhood and then got trapped with Amarantha, you would do the same fucking thing. Get rid of this bitch, I'm done. Tempting, but too messy, Rhys replied. Baron sided with us in the war. Hopefully he'll sway that way again. He will, Eris said, running a finger over one of the claw marks, gouged into the table. Another recent Tamlin mirror. The talon marks. And will remain blissfully unaware of Feyre's gifts, a throne in exchange for his silence and sway. Promise Kier nothing you care about, Rhys said, waving a hand in dismissal. Eris rose to his feet. We'll see. A frown at Moore as he drained his wine and set down the goblet. I'm surprised you still can't control yourself around him. You had every emotion written right on that pretty face of yours. Watch it, Azriel warned. Eris looked between them, smiling faintly, secretly, as if he knew something that Azriel didn't. I wouldn't have touched you, he said to Moore, who blanched again. But when you fucked that other bastard, a snarl ripped from Rhys's throat at that, and my own. I knew why you did it. Again, that secret smile that had Moore shrinking. So I gave you your freedom, ending the betrothal in no uncertain terms. See, guys, he was nice about it. Nice.
Yeah.
Like, words are words, but actions are actions, you know? And what happened next? Azriel growled. A shadow crossed his face. There are few things that I regret. That is one of them. But perhaps one day, now that we are allies, I shall tell you why, what it cost me. I don't give a shit.
Tell us now!
I don't give a shit, Moore said. She pointed to the door. Get out. Bitch, I want to fucking know. I know. Eris gave a mocking bow to her, to all of us. See you at the meeting in 12 days. I want to know. I want to know. Damn it. Why does Sarah always do this? Every time something interesting comes up, she fucking cuts it off. Every time. Sarah, at this point, literally just drop the fucking Moore and Eris novella. At the very least, please give us Eris.
Or at least tell us what the next title is going to be, or like who it's about.
Tell us the fucking couple. Or pairing, or whatever. Tell us the dual POV. Hi.
No, I see.
Hola.
Hello. we just passed the Eris and Moore conversation in Aka War.
It's a good one. I love that combo.
I know. I wouldn't have touched you. I knew why you did it. There are a few things I regret. That's one of them. But perhaps one day, now that we are allies, I shall tell you why, what it cost me. Tell us! God damn it! No! No! Damn it! Anyways. Later on.
What do you guys think it cost him? Like, if you had to guess.
I don't know.
What if Eris and Moore aren't actually mates, but Gwen's mom and Eris were mates?
I swear to God, I've had that thought too. I'm like, he was in love with Gwen's mom, who was like the
Lesser Fae. Like Jasmine, that's why he didn't. He refused to hurt Jasminda.
Yeah.
But like, I forget, was there a timeline? Did she say that her mom only died a handful of years ago, or is that just me like making that up? Or did she just say when her mom died, Catherine like took care of them? But they're only 28, so it had to at least have been in the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck would it have cost him?
It had to have been like I think that too, like that it was like the mom who was lost her faith and like a family like being with Gwen because he had to give up his daughter to be like his daughters to be a priestess. That's all I can think of.
Unless he was in love with the mom, okay? Just listen. In love with the mom, right? Baron, I don't know,
Yeah.
found out or something because okay, childhood or like teenage lovers maybe, kind of like Lucian and Desminda, because remember, Baron is the one that sent Gwen's mom to Sangrava. She couldn't live in the autumn house, the forest house. Right? Because what if Eris was in love with her? And so he sent her to Sangrava, whatever. But I mean, Eris could have kept seeing her in secret, maybe. Because at least when they were all under the mountain and he got let out for Callan May, he could be with her without Baron around. And that's when they were conceived. And so when they're like, oh, who's our dad? She's like, I have no idea. I don't know. I swear they made like some sort of pact to be like, look, if anything comes of this, do not even put them at risk. He had to have gone back at some point and like, I don't know, seen them or I don't know. What if he got to see them as like babies?
Don't make me cry.
I know. Like, what if they were like babies or like toddlers and she just doesn't remember? Because it would have been during Amarantha's reign. Stop it. But as for like what it cost him, like, I don't know. What if he was supposed to marry her? I don't know. No, he was supposed to marry Moore, and then he fucked it up, and Baron was mad. Did he fuck it up knowing that he was in love with someone else? And then,
No.
but like when, I don't know why Baron would have waited so long to like get to her, because again, that would have been like 8 centuries later.
I mean, I see Baron playing the long game and holding a grudge and being petty.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he specifically waited until he could frame Hybern for her death. Because after Under the Mountain, everybody knew that Hybern was like gonna be looking around, gonna be trying to invade, right? Maybe he framed Hybern for their mom's death. I don't know. But we don't know how she fucking died. That bothers me. Another fucking we don't know how she died. Yes.
Is she dead?
Well,
she's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
the girls
dead.
say it. Gwen says it.
Yeah. Katrin took care of me when our mom died. When? Why? How? Tell us. What's her name? I told Eka that I named her Marina Bardara.
Oh, I love that. That's so cute.
I know. And I feel like she had like dark red hair, like dark auburnish red hair. And
Yeah.
that's why Katrin had black hair and Gwen's is more coppery like Eris.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's copper brown. So that kind of makes sense, right? Ugh! Just pisses me off.
Guys, I want this story and this book so bad. And we're getting nothing but radio silence.
Like, I was saying, like, something. Yeah. Drop the Moore and Eris novella, at least. Please.
Give us, like, a pairing. Give us
title.
Give us a full POV.
I don't know if you guys heard my voice note earlier, but I went through and looked at all the, like, info drops and, like, when they happened for the whole series. And, like, all of them except for, I think, Akathas? Yeah, I think all of them except Akathas were October. And then one was November. So I think October, November. I swear to God, if we don't have anything before Christmas. Sarah, come on, October. I swear.
She's just been like, you've been strangely quiet. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it terrifies the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Hashtag drafting. Hashtag Echo what? Because you don't even know. You don't even know what.
Every time an author has done this, like I have such PTSD. I've had 2 authors do this to me, where they go, "Have you had that?" They go dead ass silent, and then like they come back after you've waited for so long, and then like shit hits the fan in a really bad way.
It's going to. I said literally, no matter who she fucking drops, there's gonna be a riot. If she drops this novella first, people are going to be pissed that it's not Gwenriel or Elriel or Lucian. If she drops Gwenriel or Lucian, the Elriels are going to fucking riot. If she drops Elriel, everyone else is going to riot. If she drops fucking Tamlin, the Tamlin haters are going to riot. She cannot fucking win, no matter what she's writing. She can't. There's nothing at all she could write where the whole fandom would be like, yes, we're excited for this book. Nothing.
Do you think that she knows this and
she knows this? Oh, she knows this. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my Eris tank.
Oh, I love it. Cute.
It says, don't believe the lies they tell you about me.
Eris, my man.
But yeah, she literally cannot fucking win. Anyways. More world on Azrael. Why didn't you say anything? He didn't so much as rustle his wings, because you would have tried to stop it, and we can't afford to lose Kier's alliance and face the threat of Eris. You're working with that prick, Cassian cut in. Fucking Cassian. Just go fucking claim her as your mate, Cassian. Whatever catching up now over, apparently. He moved over to Moore's side, a hand on her back. He shook his head at Azrael and Rhys, disgust curling his lip. You should have spiked Eris's fucking head to the front gates. Oh! Cassian.
And like if Cassian could defend Nesta as much as he defends Moore.
Yeah. Also, you should have spiked his head to the front gates. That sounds familiar.
That sounds gross.
Head spiked to a fountain in Akatar.
Yeah.
That was that?
With the Night Court sigil.
Did Cassian do that? Not Rhys?
Az did that.
Azrael.
Azrael. My God.
Well, he was talking to Az and Rhys. It could have been either of them, but yeah. Azrael watched with that icy indifference, but Lucian crossed his arms, leaning against the back of the couch. I have to agree with Cassian. Eris is a snake. Sadness. Lucian, he defends you so much. You have no idea.
I like the little fox, like a pillow Eka has as we speak about Lucian.
Oh, I have my little fox glasses on too.
Oh my gosh, look at it. I don't have any props.
Props. Perhaps Rhys had not filled him in on everything then, on what Eris had claimed about saving his youngest brother in whatever way he could of his defiance. Of course Rhys isn't gonna fucking tell him. Why would he tell him anything? Why would he be nice?
Because he's bored.
Your whole family is despicable, Amren said. Hot kettle, Amren! Said to Lucian from where she and Nesta lingered in the archway. But Eris may prove a better alternative if he can find a way to kill Baron off and make sure the power shifts to him. Make sure the power shifts to him!
Like, Amren. Why wouldn't it?
Amren. He has to be Helian's kid, too. He has to be. He has Helian's eyes. I'm sure he will, Lucian said. But see, this is why I think the Autumn Court also has a spell book. Because if you remember, the only time we saw someone manipulate magic to choose them was Ianthe during Alan May, and she used Hybern's. Well, we can assume she used Hybern's spellbook. Oh God, the High Lord's meeting, guys. The High Lord's meeting. Baron, slender-faced and brown-haired, didn't bother to look anywhere but at the High Lords assembled. But his remaining sons sneered at us, sneered enough that the peregrines ruffled their feathers. Even Varian flashed his teeth in warning at the leer Cressida earned from one of them. Their father didn't bother to check them, but Eris did. A step behind his father, Eris murmured, enough, and his younger brothers fell into line, all three of them. This is why I said he was Lucian's keeper. He's the keeper. Please. Whether Baron noticed or cared, he did not let on. He merely stopped halfway across the room, hands folded before him, and scowled, as if we were a pack of mongrels. Baron, the oldest among us, the most awful. He's gonna be such a fucking threat, and everyone has underestimated him. I'm scared. I'm so scared. The oldest High Lord in history, allying with both the evil fucking queens, who could or could not have been turned in the cauldron. We don't know. Azrael's spies couldn't detect. And fucking Koshi the Deathless. I'm scared. And that just brings my mind back to that really, really, really awful headcanon about Eris's death, since you guys are so determined to say he's gonna die, that he's gonna pull an Arabin on Eris and have him tortured and dumped on the front steps of the river house.
I don't know. I don't really think that anymore.
I hope not, but it keeps crossing my mind because, let's be honest, Arabin was definitely Sam's dad, and we just didn't get confirmation.
Oh,
and
that's
like
fine.
and like Baron thinks that Eris is his oldest and his heir, and like, is he though? Ugh, I'm so like every really good spy does fuck up at some point, and I'm like scared for Eris to fuck up. Like Tamlin fucked up by saving them. Rhys fucked up by trying to help Feyre. Eris is gonna have some of his own self-sacrificial moment, and he better fucking survive it like the other two. But I don't know. I can kind of see him like jumping in front of Lucian. It makes me sad.
Oh,
I know, because everything he does is for Lucian. Or more, technically, because if she's still his mate.
Or Gwen.
I would really hate if he fucking went down for more.
Okay, I have a really twisted.
I'm sure you do. Tell us.
What if, okay, hear me out. What if Hellion is not Lucian's dad and Feyre just got it wrong because she's an unreliable narrator? What if Eris? Well, no, because it makes more sense for Hellion to be his daddy.
Yeah, because Eris said that like he wasn't a threat to his throne or whatever, and he knows that Lucian's more powerful than him. So,
yeah. All right, never mind. That crack theory didn't go my.
Unless you want to hear an even wilder crack theory.
What?
If Eris is actually Lady Autumn's and Einar Dannon's.
Oh my god, stop.
Because remember, cousins used to marry cousins. I don't know.
I want Einar to come back. Bring back Einar.
I was saying Lady Autumn's maiden name is Dannon.
You guys, I need that. I need this storyline.
Fucking Einar. No.
Einar.
He was such a traitor. He could have been so good. And no, he was a baron.
Yeah, but he was like a sexy baron.
Sexy baron.
He just started out like super hot. Like,
I mean, you know, the unbuttoned shirt and the ruffled.
That right there is where my Einar Dannon obsession like happened, because like
okay,
like a Dolph just walking in the room with, like,
Hear me out. What if, this is a huge crack theory, what if Einar Dannon was actually Lady Autumn's like first husband that they sold her to, and then somehow she's like, fuck off, and sent him through a portal, and then they're like, you're still marrying a High Lord, because he's the Autumn King. Wouldn't he be like the High Lord of Autumn? I don't know. Unless Baron sent him through the portal and was like, phew, and just
what? I'm convinced Einar is like Baron's like brother or like lady, like somehow.
I think that he was like Lady A's cousin. I think that maybe he would have been High Lord, and I have a feeling that Baron's family got rid of him. And then just married them to the next powerful person, which would have been Lady A.
Nah.
What do you think?
I don't think Eris is going to be heir to Baron. I think it's going to be another brother. And Eris isn't happy about it, so he sends that brother to a different realm. And that just so happens to be Einar.
Well,
wait, that makes sense.
But no, that doesn't.
Because we don't know what some of their names are.
Yeah, but Crescent City was happening at the same time, unlike Todd.
Yeah, but wouldn't that make sense? Because Einar was trying to get back, and like Eris was like fighting for the power, and he's like, it has to choose me. What if it was for Einar?
But his brothers are all there, like
that
time travel.
Know.
Yeah, but Einar couldn't get back. That's why he was like the prism and all this shit, right?
Or Rhys with his time traveling powers, when he allied with Eris, took the brother that would be chosen.
There was an eighth brother.
No.
Einar was the oldest. That's why.
Probably.
But what if like that's why he's so weird, like worried about and like seeking allies and like. But
then wouldn't he have been in Hofast? Wouldn't he have seen Bryce? This all comes back to none of them fucking seeing Bryce. I hate this.
If it's time travel.
Well, really, you can only time travel with the harp.
Nuh-uh.
That would be Nesta, right?
Nuh-uh.
Who?
Rhys has time traveling powers, remember? We talked about it.
Yeah, but can he go that far? I feel like he can't go that far without, like, a trove item. Like he
Well,
can go
now he
into the
can.
void, but we don't really have proof that he can like go to another planet.
Well, now he can't because he's not the most powerful High Lord anymore.
You
He's
missed
the most
it! You missed my
he's,
tumble that I have to write out tonight.
he's the most powerful Valg.
I said I was okay, really, really quick. I was basically going over my theory that how I thought the cauldron was the drop, and I couldn't figure out how. And I was like, okay, well, Nesta and Elaine made the drop. We didn't really see their point of view of what happened the whole time in the cauldron, or their ascension, right? Into Fae. But they were human. They were made, right? Amryn and Rhys went into the cauldron. They were unmade. Made and unmade is the drop. The people who
Wait.
are not powerful enough to come back die.
Oh, Reese is no longer powerful.
I said if he was unmade, it unmade like his high face, like not his high face eye, but like his high face powers. He only has his Valk powers, which is why he's losing control of it.
Wait, why do you think he was unmade?
Because
he died.
He died from in the cauldron. He died from the
Oh.
cauldron. The same way Amryn did. Amryn is powerless. So we were saying, what the fuck did Rhys lose? He lost his Fae powers.
Oh my god.
He
I
only
really
has
don't-
his Valk powers. I was saying, like, he hasn't misted anyone.
He was freaking out about Feyre's pregnancy, and it's like, you're the most powerful High Lord. Why aren't you doing anything about it?
The bubble.
Because he's powerless, and he's freaking the fuck out.
Mhm.
And he hasn't told Feyre that he lost his powers.
Also, his witch side, which is part Valg anyway, is how he got the fucking bubble around her, because he said, oh, I'm practicing spells with Helion. Why are you practicing spells with Helion? Why do you need to know spells now?
Oh my gosh, you guys.
He doesn't have his fucking Fae powers anymore, I swear.
Yep.
And so I was saying, if they vanquish his fucking Valg, is he going to be powerless? Because this would go full fucking circle to Under the Mountain to why he hoarded for Amarantha, because he didn't want to be powerless.
Oh my god.
So what if she doesn't kill him? She just makes him powerless, like Amryn. If they get rid of his Valg, they get rid of the rest of his power. So is he going to lose his shit when they're like, okay, we need to depossess you of this thing, knowing that that's the only power he has left?
Wait, so then is the parasite also related to the cauldron?
It's an Asteri spell. It's a spell.
Oh, he thinks that. Oh, he thinks he has the parasite,
Maybe.
and that's why he's going to Hellion to learn spells.
Let's learn spells. And he was the one that wanted to know the unlocking spell for the fucking mask, which is concerning too. He's the only one that knows it.
Yeah, that's sus.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like literally, what powers did we see in Akathas? What powers did we see in Akazith?
no.
Fucking none.
None.
Only the darkness seeping from him when he was pissed with the black eyes. Right?
Ugh.
I don't think he floated anything over to him, or actually he did.
No, he did.
He had like generic magic.
He held the swords up
Yeah,
and he was like,
he had like
rotating
the generic,
sword.
yeah. But I feel like he did lose a lot of power though.
She said the bargain with Feyre.
Yeah, I was telling Eka that it reversed that when Nesta brought her back. The Death Pact. Because it gave
Nesta got the
Nesta her
tattoo.
bargain. It would have taken Feyre since she died. That fulfilled the bargain technically because Rhys was gonna die with her.
Oh, I actually really hope she writes it that way.
Because
I
you were
wouldn't have
arguing
thought
with me about that, and you're like, no, it didn't.
I did argue with you on that. I remember that now.
But yeah, hello again, made and unmade. What fucking powers does Feyre have now?
None.
Did Feyre lose some magic? I don't know, because Nesta after that was like made Starborn because she got the tattoo again, and so was Feyre unmade.
But Feyre still had her tattoos though, so you'd think that if she was unmade, she like wouldn't have them, right?
Well, that was her mate tattoo. She had her mate tattoos
on there.
It didn't say anything about the bargain tattoo, which that would have been a good way to get rid of that fucking pact, though. Right?
I'm concerned by sorry guys, that she's not gonna write it that way, and that we still have to find a way to end Rhysand and Lucian or Feyre's spell. Like I feel like that's gonna be a really big plot line in the next couple books.
I feel like it's gonna have to do with like him becoming some sort of powerless. Because if you think about it, like we've never actually seen a bargain between. Oh, actually, yeah, we have. But like a powerless fae still isn't really a human, I guess. Because I was gonna say we haven't really seen a bargain with a human, but literally we did. It was fucking Feyre in book 1. So I'm like, would it stay even though he's powerless? That pisses me off. Just give us the 2-for-1 death special.
What if
Sarah.
it's gonna have to do something with like Lucian and Elaine? Like, I'm concerned that she's gonna have Lucian figure out how to break all of the mating bonds and like all of the spells, and then like he'll come and like break Feyre and Reese's, and like Elaine and him will break theirs.
So right now
Nah,
there's
think
two
so?
ways. There's the cauldron itself, or what we learned in Hofas is Truth Teller, which we don't know how it's wielded. We don't know how it can be wielded to unmake things, but it can. I think the runes carved into the handle, I think that's like a spell. I think the word mark being carved into it is a spell. And that like unmakes things. I don't know. Maybe it's like a blood oath thing where like you I don't know.
Maybe.
Gosh. Anyway, back to Eris. Okay, this is fucking funny actually. Rhys greeted him, though his power was a dark mountain shuddering beneath us. Okay. It's no surprise
That's very specific.
A mountain? Like the Asteri Mountains? It's no surprise that you're tardy, given that your own sons were too slow to catch my mate. I suppose it runs in the family. Right off the bat, you're gonna fucking antagonize. Right off the bat. You're gonna fucking antagonize. So annoying. Baron's lips
In
curled
front
slightly.
of like
Baron's lips curled slightly as he looked at me, my crowned mate and high lady. I leveled a flat bored stare at him, turned it on his hateful sons on Eris. Eris only smiled at me, amused and aloof. Would he wear that mask when he ended his father's life and stole his throne? And then later on, Tamlin's quote, which we all know. Heat stained my cheeks. This wasn't outright battle, but a steady, careful shredding of my dignity, my credibility. First of all, you have no credibility. Baron beamed delighted while Eris carefully monitored. Rhys went on. I convinced her that it would serve little purpose. Who knew that a cock could be so persuasive? Father. Eris's voice was low with warning. Cassian, Azriel Moore, and I had fixed our gazes upon Baron, and none of us were smiling. Perhaps Eris would be High Lord sooner than he planned.
What?
If you want proof that we are not scheming with Hybern, Rhys said blandly to them all, consider the fact that it would be far less time-consuming to slice into your minds and make you do my bidding. Balg! Balg!
yeah.
Only Baron was stupid enough to scoff. Eris was just angling his
my
body
God.
in his chair, blocking the path to his mother.
Hold on. I just had the funniest scene come in my head. When
What?
Rhys says that, all I can think of is that scene from Beetlejuice where they're at the dining table and they're singing that song
Never
where
seen
it's like, ayo, hey, da, 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 come back, but we'll go home.
it.
Okay,
Also-
you need to write that scene. You need to write that music.
And they're just swinging their butts in the chair.
Also, what makes Eris think that he could protect his mother from... Oh, he was protecting his mother from Daemati magic. Baron was stupid enough to scoff. Eris was angling his body in his chair, blocking the path to his mother.
Oh, he was.
New thingy that we caught. Because remember, when the Hybern twins do it to like Tamlin and Lucian, they spear right for them. And Feyre had to like block them, right? With her whatever. Eris was literally blocking her.
And he did say he learned a thing or two about Daemati too,
Yup.
right?
Yup.
Wait. What if he is Daemati?
I would love that if that's actually the case. But then if he's Daemati, he would know that more. He would already know that Moore is a lesbian. I guess she's bi.
And I feel like he's still kind of in love with her-ish.
Do you think so?
Uh-huh.
I mean, she's his mate, so I feel like there's going to be lingering shit there, but maybe not love, but like, you know, mate stuff.
It does seem like he was pining after her when like he was like, I can smell her in the air or whatever. Like, why doesn't she come in?
Could come in, you know.
Oh, it's really sad.
And then just the guy the graphic audio guy that plays Eris, how he's like his most emotional scenes are with Morrigan. I have to prepare myself for those. I was like, tell us, give us the truth.
I want to know what those voice actors know because they have to know the ending of their character.
I know.
Right? Do you think they do?
I don't think that they get like overarching, like, I don't know. They get like overarching things like to determine how they should act.
Like, do you think Sarah, like, they sit down with Sarah J. Maas and Sarah's like prompting them, like, you know, he's gonna eventually like Morris is mate. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
She has to. She has to prompt them.
Baron
I
said,
bet.
You may be inclined to believe him, Tamlin, Rhysand, but as someone who shares a border with his court, I am not so easily swayed. A wry look. Perhaps my errant son can clarify. Pray, where is he? Even Tamlin looked toward me. He was
Oh,
worried about
please.
Lulu. Helping to guard our city. Not a lie, not entirely. Eris snorted and surveyed Nesta, who stared back at him with steel in her face. Pity you didn't bring the other sister. I hear our little brother's mate is quite the beauty. He was letting them know that they know about Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
That was very tactical. That was very good. That was strategic.
That was very covert.
Mm-hmm. If they knew Elaine was Lucian's mate, ... It was now another avenue, I realized with no small amount of horror. Another way to strike at the youngest brother they hated so fiercely, so unreasonably. Eris's bargain with us had not included protection of Lucian. My mouth went dry. That scares me. As well.
Why would Eris not put that in the bargain? He's so smart, you know?
Maybe he knows Lucian can protect himself.
Maybe.
Moore
Maybe.
replied smoothly, you still certainly like to hear yourself talk, Eris. Good to know some things don't change over the centuries. Eris's mouth curled into a smile at the words, the careful game of pretending that they had not seen each other in years. Good to know that after 500 years you still dress like a slut. I love that.
Oh.
Feyre even is like, oh, they're pretending that they haven't seen each other because, you know, Eris couldn't let them know about the meeting. But is that like a double meaning, Sarah? Only Eris knew how far the alliance went, information that could damn this meeting if either side revealed it, information that could get him wiped off the earth by his father. Moore was staring and staring at Azriel, who refused to look at her, who refused to do anything but give Eris that death gaze. Eris averted his eyes wisely and said, apologies, Morrigan. His father actually gawked at the words, but something like approval shone on Lady Autumn's face as her eldest son settled himself once more. Mama Bear. Baron's face darkened. Watch your tone, girl. She doesn't have to watch anything, not when you fling that sort of horse shit at her. I looked at the alchemist. I will take your antidote. Baron rolled his eyes. Eris said, Father. Baron lifted a brow. You have something to add? He didn't flinch, but chose his words very, very carefully. I have seen the effects of Fabane. Obviously, because you fucking whip him with it, bitch. He nodded toward me. It truly renders us unable to tap our power. If it's wielded against us in war or beyond it, if it is, we shall face it. I will not risk my people or family in testing out a theory. It is no theory, Nuan said, that mechanical hand clicking and whirring as it curled into a fist. I would not stand here unless it had been proved without a doubt. A female of pride and hard work. Eris said, I will take it. My babies! It was the most ... decent I'd ever heard him sound. Even Moore blinked at it. Baron studied his son with a scrutiny that made some small part of me wonder if Eris might have grown to be a good male, if he had a different father, if one still lurks there beneath centuries of poison. I love her. He needs someone feisty like her.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of like a Nesta in this scene. And she's so smart, so strategic. I need her to be his Irene. I need it. Eris, what had it been like for him under the mountain? What games had he played? What had he endured? Trapped for 49 years. I doubted he would risk such a thing happening again, even if it set him in opposition to his father, or perhaps because of that. Baron only said, no, you will not, though I'm sure your brothers will be sorry to hear it. Indeed, the others seemed rather put out that their first barrier to the throne wasn't about to risk his life in testing Nuan's solution. Baron didn't want him to take it because, let's be real, he's fucking whipping them with it.
See, I don't know. I don't know. I thought that Eris
wasn't healed from his lashes in Akasif in Hewn City. Because remember, Cassian's like, Baron tortured him instead of being glad he was alive. This was like 3 days later.
Oh, okay, that's true.
So like he would have healed, right?
I don't know.
It mirrors Lucian under the mountain when he was lashed, and he's like, it took me like 3 days to heal. I was unconscious.
Did we find out that Lucian was being whipped with Fabane? We don't know. Okay.
We don't know. But Amarantha and her spells, I would assume so. She had ties to Hybern. Hybern is who turned the Fabane into like water and powder and all this. So yeah. I imagine.
The chains.
Yeah, and if Eris has like a secret stash of ash arrows, I feel like Baron has a secret stash of Fabane liquid or something. Ugh. Maybe. Your staggering generosity aside, will you be joining our forces? I have not yet decided. Eris went so far as to give his father a look bordering on reproach, from genuine alarm or for what the refusal might mean for our own covert alliance. I couldn't tell. Get out if you're not going to be helpful. Really, Feyre? Really? At his side, Eris had the wits to actually look worried. But Baron continued to ignore his son's pointed stare and hissed at me. Did you know that while your mate was warming Amarantha's bed, most of our people were locked beneath that mountain? I didn't deign to respond. Did you know that while he had his head between her legs, most of us were fighting to keep our families from becoming the nightly entertainment? which is what Reese then turned you into, bitch. Baron shot to his feet. This meeting is over. I hope Hybern butchers you all. Nesta rose from her chair. This meeting is not over. Even Baron paused at her tone. Queen, 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 the oldest High Lord. Come on. Eris sized up. Huh?
I was a little like put off by Nesta at that point. I don't know if you guys were. I was kind of like, I don't know, girl.
Eris sized up the space between my sister and his father. She stood tall, a pillar of steel. You are all there is. You are all that there is between Hybern and the end of everything that is good and decent. You fought against Hybern in the last war. Why do you refuse to do so now? Baron didn't answer, but he didn't leave. Eris subtly motioned to his brothers to sit. Nesta marked the gesture and hesitated, as if realizing she indeed held their complete attention, that every word mattered.
Oh, that was nice of Eris.
It was nice, Eris.
He was like,
sit down,
preach.
shut up.
No, he was like, preach, queen.
Oh, I love that. And then they're dancing later in accent.
And like his power calls to hers, just like Gwen's calls to hers.
Oh, I
crackling.
love that.
Like calls to like. Starborn calls to Starborn. She looked to Baron and his family as she finished. Only the lady and Eris seemed to be considering, impressed even by the strange simmering woman before them. Woman or female? I'm getting a little confused here, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, Lady Autumn approved of Nesta?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
Impressed by her. I didn't
I
have the
love
words in me to convey what was in my heart. Cassian seemed the same. Cough. Baron only
Well-
said, I shall consider it. A look at his family and they vanished. Eris was the last to winnow, something conflicted dancing over his face, as if this was not the outcome he planned for or expected. He was like, I got you, girl. The Lucian paternity revelation.
Oh, Sarah.
I love it. I love it. Reese began asking why we wanted to know what Hybern was doing with the cauldron. Reese fed him the answers easily and smoothly. While we spoke, I said down the bond, Helion is Lucian's father. Reese was silent. Then, holy burning hell. His shock was a shooting star between us. Okay, Falg. I let my gaze dart through the room, half paying attention to Helion's musings on the wall and how to repair it, then dared study the High Lord for a heartbeat. Look at him. The nose is the same, the smile, the voice, even Lucian's skin is darker than his brother's, a golden brown compared to their pale coloring. It would explain why his father and brothers detest him so much, why they have tormented him his entire life. My heart squeezed at that, and why Eris didn't want him dead. He wasn't a threat to Eris's power or the throne. I swallowed. Helion has no idea, does he? It would seem not. The Lady of Autumn's favorite son, not only from Lucian's goodness, but because he was the child she dreamed of having with the male she loved. Babes, I love that. And then when she's like, it's his mom's fire, not Baron's. I love that. I love that. My favorite quote. Out of a rip in the world, Eris appeared atop Arnold, clad head to toe in silver armor, a red cape spilling from his shoulders. Reese snarled a warning, too far gone in his power to bother controlling himself. Valg. Already, Valg. Eris just rested a hand on the pommel of his fine sword and said, we thought you might need some help. But Baron had come. Eris registered our shock at that too and said, Tamlin made him drag my father out by his neck, a half smile. It was delightful. It was delightful. You can't tell me that Eris didn't send Tamlin a letter. You cannot tell me that he's like, you better get this motherfucker to this war. Because I don't have the power to do it. You're my only ally, dude. He already said he wasn't going to go against Baron.
They are besties.
This is why I feel like Lucian's going to feel so betrayed.
Why? Because Eris and Tamlin?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Tamlin knows that Eris was the one that sent the first letter, but I don't know. I feel like Tamlin might have been updating him on Lucian. And Lucian doesn't know.
I honestly kind of want to see like a legit Eris Tamlin friendship. Like in
I
the
do
books.
too.
Yeah.
Like, why have we not seen any scenes with them aside for like in front of Nesta and Cassian when Eris looked terrified? I don't think he was terrified that Tamlin would like tell about him being there. I think he was terrified because Tamlin knows other stuff about him. I don't know.
Oh.
Reese's voice was rough. And what of your father? We're taking care of a problem, was all Eris said, and pointed toward his father's army. Those were his brothers approaching the front line, winnowing in bursts through the host, right past the front lines to the enemy wagons scattered through the Hybern ranks. And then they set them ablaze and all of that, which... Why couldn't one or two of them die?
Yeah, really.
God damn it.
I don't know. I kind of like the redheaded brothers.
The nameless, shitty brothers that tried to kill them.
Enar.
Yeah.
Enar.
That's why she likes them.
You know what? I did always love like the Weasley brothers in Harry Potter, so it's just like in me.
Oh my god.
I was like all about the Weasley. And you wanna know what? I just like random side note, when you're talking about the brothers winnowing like to the front and stuff. I watched Harry Potter the other day with my kids, and I was like, holy shit, Sarah got this from. Like, I feel like she kind of got it from Harry Potter and like the
A little.
battles, with like a little bit, right? Because they
Mhm.
win out in the battles.
Oh.
A little bit.
I feel like she also got inspiration from A Discovery of Witches.
Maybe.
I saw someone else say that.
Was that out though before Act War?
Someone else said that too, Eka. You should go on Book Talk and say it as well. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's good, but it's like, oh my gosh, this is so Faye San.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have to watch it.
The final meeting, Olivia, the meeting that you don't like.
I hate this meeting. It really, really upsets me.
Which
Eris-
one? They had like a bunch.
The one in the old Archer
house.
Island Manor.
Oh.
After it had been sacked and all that, everyone met up after the war. Eris was bruised and cut up enough to indicate he must have been in terrible shape after the fighting ceased yesterday, sporting a brutal slice down his cheek and neck, barely healed. Okay, do we actually think this was the war, or was this Baron?
Baron.
I think it's
Hands-
Baron.
hands
A
down,
very
Baron.
calculated slice down his face. Baron fucking tortured him because Eris let Tamlin probably into the estate, right?
Wait. Eris is the one that had the slice on his face?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sported a
Similar
brutal slice down his
to-
cheek and neck. And neck.
Similar to Lucian. Similar to Lucian.
Mm-hmm. Neck too, though? Cheek and neck barely healed. Fucking Faebane. Moore let out a satisfied grunt at the sight of it, or perhaps a sound of disappointment that the wound had not been fatal. I hate her. Eris continued by as if he hadn't heard it, but didn't sneer at least. Rather, he just nodded at Rhys. It was a silent promise enough. Soon perhaps, Eris would finally take what he desired and call in our debt. We did not bother to nod back, none of us, especially not Lucian, who continued dutifully ignoring his eldest brother. But as Eris strode by, I could have sworn there was something like sadness, like regret, as he glanced to Lucian.
Baby.
Baby! I hate that so badly.
I hope Eris doesn't die and like they have a good brotherhood.
I know, me too.
No.
It was annoying how like they didn't really talk to each other in the Akasif meeting either.
Yeah.
Super annoying.
Yeah. A court of frost and starlight. I'm not going to go over Moore's whole flashback because we already know what that entails, but it says the autumn court male standing beside Kier, ... Moore made herself look at Eris into his amber eyes. Helion, constantly in Akawar and Akasif, amber eyes, amber eyes, amber eyes. Colder than any hall of Callius's court. They had been that way from the moment she'd met him 5 centuries ago. And you never thought it was a mask like your cousin, bitch? Never? Not once? Really? Are you that stupid for the wielder of truth? Unless, like Eka said, her truth magic is some sort of branch off of Daemati magic, which then kind of makes sense because...
Maybe she didn't have access to her magical snow globe then.
And he knows how to shield his mind, so...
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
The pewter-colored jacket, just like Nesta's pewter-colored dress.
Yes.
Yeah, basically he's just saying happy solstice, That silky, arrogant voice. It had not altered, not once in the passing centuries, had not changed since that day. She basically goes through them dumping her on the border. No one touches her, he said. Eris, the moment we do, she's our responsibility. No one touches her. She began shaking, hating it as much as she hated the begging. Her body bellowed in agony, those nails in her abdomen relentless. A pale, beautiful face appeared above her, blocking out the jewel-like leaves above, unmoved, impassive. I take it you do not wish to live here, Morrigan. She would rather die here, bleed out here. She would rather die in return as something wicked and cruel and shred them all apart. He must have read it in her eyes. A small smile curved his lips. I thought so. He straightened, turning. Her fingers curled in the leaves and the loamy soil. She wished she could grow claws as Rhys could, and rip out that pale throat, but that was not her gift. Her gift had left her here broken and bleeding. Someone behind him said, we can't just leave her here too. We can and we will, he said simply. She chose to sully herself. Her family chose to deal with her like garbage. I have already told them my decision in this matter. And I am not in the habit of fucking Illyrian leftover. That's the part that he regrets, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Because he totally would.
Yeah. Move out. Their steps faded away and vanished. The sun, the wind, and the leaves, the blood and the iron and the soil beneath her nails, the pain. Well, like, he literally asked her, like, do you want me to fucking save you? And she's like, no, she'd rather be here. But I find that interesting that she said she would rather die in return as something wicked and cruel and shred them all apart.
Not the first time that SJM writes about like coming back as something else, you know what I mean? I think that's alluded to a lot in like Throne of Glass, isn't it? People saying like you could go back to another as a different planet as something else. Did you guys read that
I feel
too?
like it's like a witch reference, but I haven't gotten that far yet. Eris and Huon City.
Okay.
I would
I haven't
suggest
either.
reminding Baron that territory expansion is not on the table for any court. Eris wasn't phased. Nothing had ever disturbed him, ruffled him, except for Lulu. Moore had hated it from the moment she met him, the distance, the coldness, the lack of interest or feeling for the world. Then I would suggest to you, High Lord, that you speak to your dear friend Tamlin about it. Why? Farah's question was sharp as a blade. Eris's mouth curved in an adder's smile, which ADDER, adder's smile, is also Moore moved fast as an adder during the cauldron scene. Funny. Because Tamlin's territory is the only one that borders the human lands, I think that anyone looking to expand would have to go through the Spring Court first, or at least obtain his permission.
Ooh,
He's looking out for Tam Tam.
Also, Moore being likened to an adder, and adder is a snake. Also, Eris has been likened to a snake.
Yeah, the old adder.
Wow, you guys. Very impressive that you picked up on that.
Yeah, fast as an adder, but like I guess a snake can be fast. Like she just snapped and grabbed them. She did just grab them, so makes sense.
It does.
A court of silver flames. Eris bought me time. Her words were laced with acid. Yeah, he bought you time because you're his mate and he had to protect you because he felt your fucking anxiety through the bond and he couldn't deal with that in front of Baron. Cassian had tried not to believe it, but he knew Eris had done it as a gesture of good faith. He invited Rhysand into his mind to see exactly why he convinced Kier to indefinitely delay his visit to Valaris. Only Eris had that sort of sway with the power-hungry Kier, and whatever Eris had offered Kier in exchange for not coming here was still a mystery. But Rhys probably knew. From Moore's pale face, he wondered if she knew as well. Eris must have sacrificed something big to spare Moore from her father's visit, which would have likely been timed for a moment that would maximize tormenting her. And she's not fucking grateful at all.
What did he do? I want to know what his bargaining thing.
He
what his bargaining
gave
chips
something
are.
else huge. What?
Mm-hmm. So this is the second time he's done that now.
For her. Because they're mates. Cassian meets with a band of
More
exiles in
sucks.
Eris. Lucian's bold eye clicked, reading Cassian's rage while warning flashed in his remaining russet eye. This male had grown up alongside Eris, had dealt with Eris and Baron's cruelty, had his lover slaughtered by his own father, but Lucian had learned to keep his cool. Eris was their ally. Rhys had bargained with him, worked with him. Eris had held up his end at every turn. Rhys trusted him. Moore, despite all that had happened, trusted him. Sort of. So Cassian supposed he should do so as well. Eris snorted at Cassian's fumbling. And unable to help himself, Cassian at last turned toward him. What are you doing here? Eris didn't so much as shift in his seat. Several dozen of my soldiers were out on patrol in my land several days ago and have not reported back. We found no sign of battle. Even my hounds couldn't track them beyond their last known location. As we go over, this is the Breland crown thing. Cassian's brows lowered. He knew he shouldn't let anything show, but those hounds were the best in Prithian. Canines blessed with magic of their own, gray and sleek like smoke, they could race fast as the wind, sniff out any prey. They were so highly prized that the Autumn Court forbade them from being given or sold beyond its borders, so expensive that only nobility owned them. They were bred rarely enough that one was difficult to come by. Eris, Cassian knew, had 12. None of them could winnow, Cassian asked. No. While the unit is one of my most skilled in combat, none of its soldiers are remarkable in magic or breeding.
I don't know why, but
Ew.
Eris kind of reminds me of like Dorian in that sense. I just like reading Dorian.
Breeding was tossed at Cassian with a smirk, asshole. Because Cassian has no fucking magic.
Damn.
He knows. He knows. That's funny. Eris shrugged a shoulder. I think plenty of parties are interested in triggering another war, and this would be the start of it. Though perhaps your court did it. I wouldn't put it past Rhysand to winnow my soldiers away and plant some mysterious sense to throw us off. Rhys can plant sense? Interesting. Eris is... Apparently.
Huh. Like, mate sense?
I said, like, in the cauldron scene, nobody fucking batted an eye when Pharaoh was like, he made me be his mate. He made me be his mate. He tied me to him. They're like, okay. What?
Yeah.
And Pharaoh's actual scent is lilac and pear. Interesting. So annoying. Baron is unaware of it. You know where I stand with my father. This unholy alliance. Interesting wording. He's struck with Breland will only hurt us, all of us. It will turn into a Fey war for control. So I want to find answers on my own, rather than what my father tries to feed me. Unlike you and Reese Poo. I'll just take whatever he feeds me. Cassian. He's like the worst courtier ever. I only wish to defend
a green flag.
He admits it, though. He admits that he's the most terrible courtier. Like, that's not his role, and he admits it.
So he ain't gonna be a fucking king or queen consort. Please.
We don't even know for a fact that Nesta's gonna be a queen consort, okay?
Yes, you do.
She is totally going to be queen.
She's queen. Dude.
Feyre has been saying that since book one.
Book one! Dude. Her mother, even before book one. My little queen.
The prequel.
I want my money. If you guys, if she's not queen, I would be like, I want
Lanthis, queen of queens. Hybern, what a pretty queen.
That is true. All right, that's true.
All of them. Nesta, the 8-pointed star is on you for a reason. Go take a plane. Find out why.
The Kelpie.
It's weird to me she's going to put Nesta above Feyre because she loves Feyre. It makes no sense.
I don't think she loves Feyre. Feyre's never been her favorite.
No, she was totally her favorite up until people started talking badly about Feyre, and then she's like,
Amryn. Amryn was her favorite, and then Nesta was her favorite. Feyre's her main character, but
I think it was Amryn, Feyre, and then like Nesta.
I still think she's gonna put her above Feyre. Let's be real. Feyre's like done anyway, and she's stuck with Rhys. But honestly, I also think that that's why she has Feyre like literally give up control to Rhys all the time. She does. Like, she lets him decide everything, and like the fucking bubble still proved it. Oh, we compromised. I didn't want it, but we compromised. How is that a compromise? He didn't want to let me out of the house. Really? Really?
I bet that brought up some flashbacks.
What? Out of all the words, Sarah.
I brought that up some flashbacks.
You're not even seeing your own hypocrisy at this point. What the fuck?
But she doesn't. Feyre never says anything. It drives me insane.
Insane. And then let's lock Nesta in a house.
The way that too, she's like, Feyre sat there smiling sweetly at Cassian, like telling him the story. And I'm like, this is so gross.
This is so gross. I was really talking about him. I was so mad. Oh my god. Anyways. Oh yeah, the whole all it might take to secure her alliance would be to hand over a certain Archeron sister.
Ew.
Yeah. Because he would give Nesta.
What?
Briellen wanted to kill Nesta, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Because she was a jealous bitch.
They were allied, yeah. But, I mean, it could be Elaine too. Who knows? I don't know. Cassian had been, Inner Circle assigning Cassian to Eris, which is hilarious. And then Cassian had been slapped with a new order. Keep an eye on Eris, beyond the fact that he approached you. You are my general. Eris commands Baron's forces. Be in communication with him. Cassian started to object, but Rhys had directed a pointed look at Asriel, and Cassian had caved. Az had too much on his plate already. Cassian could deal with the piece of shit of Eris on his own. Really? I'm so glad you can do something by yourself. I'm so glad you can do something by yourself, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Cassian
started to object, and then he was like, never mind. I can't go against
he masturbates by himself.
Echo.
Okay, guys, this is the part that scares me. This is the part that scares me about Eris and Lucien.
Oh.
Eris wants to avoid a war that it would expose him, Feyre guessed. If Baron sides with Briellen, which he did, Eris would be forced to choose between his father and Prythian. The careful balance he struck by playing both sides would crumble. He wants to act when it's convenient for his plans. This threatens that. I'm scared. Baby. Eris meets with Rhys and Cassian. You've turned into quite the little traitor, Rhys said, the stars winking out in his eyes. That's so a Maeve line. That's so a Maeve line.
That's so Dorian.
Wait, explain, people.
When Rowan pledged his allegiance to Aelin after breaking the blood oath with Maeve, she was pissed.
And what did she say?
I don't know.
You turned into quite the little traitor?
Probably. I feel like this is something she would say. I'll have to look it up. I told you years ago what I wanted. I told you years ago what I wanted, High Lord, to seize his father's throne. Why? Cassian asked. Eris grasped what he meant, apparently, because flames sizzled in his eyes. For the same reason I left Morgan untouched at the border. What was the reason? You left her there to suffer and die. His siphons flickered, and all he could see was the male's pretty face. All he could feel was his own fist aching to make contact. Also, he calls Eris pretty a lot.
They're totally gay for each other.
Casris!
If Asris actually happens, I will lose it.
I won't. I'll be all for it.
No, I don't.
Right
But they
next
have a line.
to Rista. Right next to Rista.
Oh my god. Eris sneered. Did I? Perhaps you should ask Morrigan whether that is true. I think she finally knows the answer. She learned it when Rhys went in his mind. Rhys showed her.
Is that when that happened?
Because remember, Cassian's like, he more probably knows now too. And then this is later, where it says Moore now knows the answer. Cassian's head spun and the relentless itching resumed, like fingers trailing along his spine, his legs, his scalp. Eris added before winnowing away, tell me when the Shadow Singer returns. Was that like Rhys being creepy? I don't know. Ugh.
No.
Because like that reminds me of like what he did with Feyre. I don't know. It's weird. Eris meets with Cassian and Nesta. The Dread Trove. I've never heard of such items, though it does not surprise me. Mix truth with lies, you bitch. You absolutely know about the Dread Trove. If you're flinching away from Truth Teller, that is a lie. Mix truth with lies, that is a lie. No, it doesn't surprise you, but never hearing of such items is a lie. Does your father know of them? The steps weren't neutral ground, but they were empty enough that Eris had finally deigned to accept Cassian's request to meet here. Oh, he met on the Illyrian steps. After taking days to reply to his message. No, thank the mother. He would have told me if he did, but if the trove has a sentience like you suggested, if it wants to be found, I fear that it might also be reaching out to others as well, not just Briolin and Koshi. So then how do you know that? How did you know that if you didn't know about the trove? He knew. He knew. Baron in possession of the trove would be a disaster. He'd join the ranks of the King of Hybern, could become something terrible and deathless like Lanthus. So Briolin failed to inform Baron about her quest for the trove when he visited her. Apparently she doesn't trust him either. I'll need to think on that. Don't tell him about it. Eris shook his head. You misunderstand me. I'm not going to tell him a damn thing. But the fact that Briolin is actively hiding her larger plans from him, is this why Morrigan is back in Valahan to learn if they know about the trove? He's so quick. So quick with it. I love it. Nesta smiled and wavered. Would an ash arrow through the heart kill a High Lord? You're wasting my time. Oof. Eris and Nesta's dance. Don't believe the lies they tell you about me. Oh, she knows the truth but has never revealed it. Why? Because she is afraid of it. What is more afraid of? Maybe that he loves her? You don't win yourself any favors with your behavior, don't I? Do I not ally myself with this court under constant threat of being discovered and killed by my father? Do I not offer aid whenever Rhysand wishes? They believe a version of events that is easier to swallow. I always thought Rhysand wiser than that, but he tends to be blind where those he loves are concerned.
Every time.
Oh, wait. What blinds an oracle?
I know. Or like technically what blinds a Daemati? Maybe? I don't know.
No, Rhys is an oracle because he can time travel, so technically he has prophecy.
Maybe. I feel like he would have known Elaine was one though, if he did. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if we come to find out that like out in the end of all the books that he was going back and forth and like time traveling the entire series, like messing with stuff, you know? I could see it.
Is that the business he was attending to when Feyre was attacked by Hybern? Is that why he didn't show up?
Is that why he's never there during the important times? Is because he's there like time traveling?
I don't know.
Yes.
I feel like we would have like seen him in like Crescent City though. Ugh, so annoying.
That would have been so cool if Rhys was in Crescent. That would have been so freaking cool.
Yeah, it's like she bumped into a dark-haired male with eyes like stars or something like that shit.
Like,
and then like
just
if
on the
they met
sidewalk.
again at the end of the book and she was like, it's him. That would have been way cooler.
That moment right there is so good, Melanie. It needs to be written into one of our books. Like when like the actor just like bumps into, that's brilliant.
Right.
Sorry, I might borrow that. I'll let you know.
It's
I'll
so
give you
good.
credit.
Cassian can only stare at Eris's throat, letting him bleed out on the floor. I want Nesta to be my bride. That's not my decision. It seems foolish for you to offer me anything I want in exchange for her anyway. I have my reasons. He knows. Starborn. From the shadows in his eyes. Shadows in his eyes. Cormac! Cassian knew something more lay beneath the rash offer. Something even as his spies hadn't picked up on at the Autumn Court. All it would take was one push of Rhys's power into his mind and they would know. But it went against everything they stood for. Really? Really? No, it doesn't.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit. It's a bonus, of course, that in doing so, I would be repaying Cassian for ruining my betrothal to Morrigan. Weird that it happened twice. Anyway. I can assume the fallout is approaching and wanted to warn you. It was not something I could risk putting in writing, but for now, it seems as if the world is holding its breath. Ugh, that's when they didn't know where Breland was.
Mm-hmm.
Red flame sizzled in Eris's eyes. What did the King of Hybern have to gain by attaining the cauldron and invading our lands? We have no interest in conquest, Eris. Really? 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 You know that, and we're not going to use the trove. You thought. Eris barked a laugh. Nesta could see that he didn't believe them, that he was so used to the twisted politics and scheming of his court that even when the simple, easy truth was offered, he could not see it. Because you did fucking use the trove. Eris could be an oracle.
That could be.
That could be cool. I find myself not entirely comfortable with your court possessing 2 items in the trove, especially when you have so many other weapons in your arsenal. His gaze shifted to Nesta. Nesta, Farah, Elaine. That's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
At his side hung the dagger recent Farah had gifted him, simple and plain compared to the finery on him. Her dagger. Oh, she did know that it was hers. Leave the heroics to the brutes, Eris. Wouldn't want to risk cutting up those pretty hands. Eris's fingers curled on his biceps. Nesta reined in her smile. Cassian's word had found their mark. If you fail in retrieving the crown, you risk Breland using it upon you. He was right. He was right. She could turn you on each other and make you do unspeakable things. The exact scene that happened. She turned them on each other and she wanted Cassian to kill her. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Do not pursue the crown. Eris had to have seen that. That would be crazy if he's an oracle. That would be crazy. Has this not been the plan the whole time, to string me along, make me an enemy of my father, and use the trove against us? You made yourself an enemy of your father. I wonder if he'll let your hounds rip you to shreds, or if he'll do it yourself. Eris paled. Don't you mean if he finds out? Cassian said nothing. Nesta stifled her smugness. For the first time since Nesta knew the male, uncertainty banked in the fire in his gaze. And my offer to you, not 1 ounce of affection or longing laced his words. The Night Court won't need you after all, neither will I. Eris went rigid, rippling with rage. I do not appreciate being toyed with. My offer was sincere. Stay with the Night Court, and you risk your ruin.
I really hated Nesta when she was saying that shit to him. Like, she's
him and
such a...
Tamlin, like she's so. It's because of Cassian.
Yeah, I get like why people don't like her though. Like, that was really shitty. Like, he's out there like sincerely proposing to you, and you're like, I don't need you anymore.
It's because he called Cassian a bastard.
Gross.
Go fucking what? Grow up. Like, he called me a name, and Eris. So he accurately predicted Breland with the crown, and then, so what if the world loses another brute to war? A nod toward Cassian. Good riddance.
Oh, so he saw Cassian's death too.
I can't wait. And this is Akasif.
God damn.
This is Akasif.
She wrote that shit in everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Watch it. I'm hoping that it's not foreshadowing and just like her being careless with her words.
I hope
It has
No,
to
it's
be.
foreshadowing.
I hope it is. It's
Her being
foreshadowing.
careless. I don't think she knows what she was doing when she wrote that.
Oh, she was. It's gonna be like Koshi's hordes, where he's gonna hold the line compared to an alias. You know.
Stop it right now. I hate that.
He bled out over the course of 3 days.
Stop it. I swear to fuck if she writes that scene, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Eris tried to help his soldiers when they surrounded him during his hunt. Help those wretches. He rode right up to them rather than gallop away as any wise person would. He'd been tortured and interrogated and never once broken. Baron tortured you? Who cares what my father does to me? Baron had tortured his own son for information rather than thanking the mother for returning him, but Eris had held out and fed Baron another lie. Something had been off in his words. His tight expression. Was the male jealous when he spoke of the other courts? Blah, blah, blah. I know what sort of creature my father is. I don't need your sympathy. Why did you leave more in the woods? Why does it still matter? She's my sister and I love her. I didn't realize Illyrians were in the habit of fucking their sister. I love that line. It still matters because it doesn't add up. Golden flame simmered in his eyes. I didn't realize I'd be facing another interrogation. Give me a damn answer. That was all of us. And Sarah's like,
Right.
Just. You're not the person I want to explain myself to. I doubt more will want to listen. Maybe not. But you and yours have more important things to think about than ancient history. It is not more either. It is Gwen. Eris was their ally, willing to be tortured to keep their secrets. I think you might be a decent male deep down trapped in a terrible situation. I think you might be a good male. You're just too much of a coward to act like one. If Korsta doesn't happen and it is actually Neris, I've said it before, I think that was like Cassian's like blessing in a way.
Mhm. Yeah.
If Eris correctly predicted, which I never got this in all 12 reads, if Eris correctly predicted how Breland was going to turn them against each other, he's definitely correctly predicting Cassian's death, along with Nesta, along with himself, along with Elaine.
Wait. You know what this also means?
What?
If Eris can predict things, and
Truth?
and Lucian is his brother. Elaine is Lucian's mate. Elaine and Eris both can tell the future. Plus, Moore is a truth teller. It's all connected.
It all connects.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. I think Eris is Helian's son.
Maybe.
Because,
I
like, I don't know. I feel like spell cleaving, like, wouldn't that kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there could be different instances of like truth magic. Like, it doesn't have to just be like an oracle or straight up truth magic. It could be like there's Daemati, there's the touch telepathy that I mentioned, there's oracles,
there's
mystics,
Nesta.
there's Nesta, there's like all these
There's
things
Nesta.
that can. There's the Veritas orb, like
The magical snow globe.
which was in Hewn City. So actually, I wonder if Kier just showed him through the Veritas. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Maybe.
I want to know what he gave both times. I would say
The
like
fates of his twin daughters. The fates of his second and third born.
second
Yeah.
and third born.
Or like a reading, or like looked into the future for Kier, something like that. Gave information.
Olivia, you didn't even catch that.
What? I am so tired. What did
She
you
said-
say?
She said Eris's second and third born. Because Cormac is his firstborn.
I swear. I honestly think you guys are the only. I can't.
What?
Cormac is dead.
No.
Dead. He's not coming back. I told you. I will
He's
ship you both
not
a bottle.
dead. Even if he doesn't end up with Nesta, he's not dead.
He's totally dead. He's so dead. In
He's
fact,
so not
like if you're right, I will ship you bottles of champagne and you can drink it right in front of me. There's no way he's not dead. He's very much dead.
Mm-mm.
SJM herself even said it would like cheapen Bryce's experience if he was alive.
No.
She said that.
About Connor.
She meant it for
No,
Bryce in general.
no, no, it was Connor.
It
It was Connor. And every time I point that out, you get upset. It was not Cormac, it was Connor.
Echo.
I don't know where she went.
She's like, fucking, I'm going to sleep.
Because you're wrong. Because you're so wrong. Your take is so wrong.
I'm telling you, your take is so wrong.
Okay, me and my followers think otherwise.
I mean, I do give you props because you have like an army of 1,000 people who agree with you.
I know.
We're like, where did you go?
We're like, she just pieced
I was
up.
so mad it kicked me out. It's because I was spitting facts.
See? She's so mad at us. Us and our army don't agree with you. I swear.
It's literally like I can trace.
I need both of you to put up, because you'll say mine is biased. So I need both of you to put up the poll. Is Cormac dead in Crescent City? Put it up. Put it up on your Bookstagram. First thing, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to remind you both to put it on your Bookstagram.
It's so funny, like, because I'll be like on the internet randomly, like Pinterest, like, and I just started going on Tumblr and stuff. I literally could trace back theories to both of you. I'm like, holy shit, I'm the person who came up with this theory. And people are like
tagging us.
I'll have to send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Dead,
not.
dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
Totally
He's not
dead.
dead.
He's not dead.
No,
We see
he's dead.
bodies for everyone who's dead. We don't see his body.
I honestly think she forgot. She
didn't
completely
forget.
forgot.
She had Rune mention him in the bonus chapter.
Scorch mark.
No scorch marks, no body parts.
You guys, he wrote an entire character in Throne of Glass that appeared and then never reappeared ever
She
again.
was
Vaughn,
16
Vaughn-
and admitted she forgot about him. She doesn't forget about Cormac because she had Rune mention him in the last bonus chapter, their wedding. Wherever his soul may be. That's not fucking suspicious at all. At all.
Like why? Like why would you be confused about where his soul is?
If he
Bryce tells Nesta, find out what that 8-pointed star means on your back.
The wind, the bright light. Cormac's gonna show up with that fucking tattoo, I swear to God. Another tattoo, other than his word marks.
why would he show up in Prithian? Why?
Because he's the king of the Dust Court.
Oh my, all right.
Dude, the prophecy. The prophecy. The word
guys.
mark tattoo. The princess with a star in her heart. That's Nesta.
Yeah, I would. But I gotta tell you, I loved your Instagram post the other night with you and Eka, where it's like me and Eka. When we asked SJM, she's gonna make more and Eris Cormac's parent. That shit, it was like the funniest thing I've seen in probably like a month. That was so hilarious.
I can be funny. It's on the podcast page. I
It was
like, what the
literally,
fuck? I thought it was funny.
it was literally the funniest thing. I sat there and laughed off and on like all day. I still laugh about it. It's hysterical.
So now we
It's-
have the Toy Story meme, Reese's daddy. Okay, what was the other one that I put that you laughed at? That was like
I
that.
don't remember.
There was another one where you're like, that
It was
the
something
funniest.
you pissed everybody off. It was like a Cassie. I think it was Cassian or something.
My
like
vibe
that.
the moment Nesta finally drops Cassian with bye. Oh, that More and Eris one has like 3,000. Oh, 44 likes.
It's
3,000
funny.
people. Oh my god.
No.
Someone put on the bye one. I have comments. Someone put girl brutal. Are you the only one rooting for this? I said not at all.
Yeah.
More than fiction pod put never. Someone said wish he didn't have to die, but yeah, Nesta needs Eris or Cormac. Hope Cassian finds his own mate. And then someone put LOL, not the stars in the background for the night court.
That was Eka wrote that.
That was me. That was me. I was the
And
only
then
one who
someone else
caught
just
that.
put raise the roof.
Ah.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go.
All right.
Me too.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
falling
the one
asleep.
when I said Olivia tells me she doesn't like my girl Briar for Tam Tam and calls her a creepy cult girl.
She can still be a creepy cult girl and still be in love with Tamlin. It's
I know.
okay.
Yes.
I mean, we have priestesses, so we had Ianthe and Gwen and Clotho, and they were like the priestesses of the human land, so it's fine.
Boo. Boo.
Then there was also Merle.
Fucking Meryl.
Yeah. Meryl, you are so lame. I love that Toy Story one though. So funny. Like,
Yeah. Okay, closing
So
question
hilarious.
for Eris week. Closing question.
Okay,
What do you think the biggest storyline in Eris's book is going to be?
more.
Aside from the more secrets, obviously.
Lucian.
yeah, I think Lucian.
But do you think that's going to happen in Lucian's book or like the Eris more novella? Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot to explore with Eris just himself too.
I think it's gonna be like the more Eris book, and Eris is gonna explore that by talking more to Tamlin as Tamlin heals.
That would be cool.
I kind of like that.
I like that
Yeah.
if she does drop the novella first.
Yeah.
We don't
yes.
know.
I'd be cool with the novella first. I want to know at this point. Like, just give me anything. I feel like I want the littlest scraps of anything are just like so good.
I want
you
the
know?
behind the scenes
Right.
footage of Eris's life. Like I want to know like how soft he is with his mom.
I
And,
know
like,
his mom's name.
I know, like Lady M
Dude.
and her name, and like him like snuggling up with his smoke hounds, and like I don't know, just the cute stuff. I know it's probably not gonna be cute because whatever, but like obviously the more
we-
secrets.
If we do not get just like a day in the life of the Autumn Court, like a day, a scene of him and Lady A in the Autumn Court in a room being sweet with each other, I will riot.
Or making
God.
s'mores.
Yes. Or like apple
course.
cider. Oh, I don't know.
Pumpkins, little bats, and this one's Cassian. He's gonna make like the ugliest bat, Cassian. This one is named
the bird
Brood
book
Bat.
from Mean Girls. This ugly or whatever it was. Yeah, right?
It is ugly for. Oh my
He is such a bitch.
god. He's such a bitch. Eris just has his own burn book.
Journaling in it every day with his feet like kicked up behind him. All right, I gotta go.
All right, bye.
I'll see you girls later.